Olá, espaçonauta! E aí, galera? Dia de eclipse solar, né? Tinha que ter nerd, né? Tinha que ter nerd. A questão é o seguinte, gente, hoje eu estou muito apertado aqui, estou cheio de compromisso aqui de trabalho, então o que eu vou fazer é o seguinte, eu vou deixar com vocês aqui, a gente tem a live aí, a transmissão direto da NASA, ali ele está mostrando ali a faixa, né, de transmissão do eclipse para vocês, mas vou deixá-los aí com essa transmissão da NASA e vou acompanhar pelo chat junto com vocês, respondendo dúvidas, trocando ideia, vamos estar juntos. Do mesmo jeito, vamos estar juntos. E aí, assim que puder, eu volto. Fica de olho nesse eclipse, porque pode pintar no céu na hora do eclipse total, que vai durar, deve durar cerca de 2 a 7 minutos no máximo, deve pintar o cometa 12P Poons Brooks. Então fica de olho aí. Certo? Grande abraço.
Plenty of awesome stuff coming up. We're going to keep a keen eye on that weather. Cleveland's looking nice and beautiful. Very clear skies. Megan, back to you.
Thank you, James. And joining us now is Dr. Bob Lehman, a heliophysicist at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So talk to us. Today's total solar eclipse, it's going to look very different from what we saw 7 years ago, right?
It is, right. The solar corona is going to look very cool today. It's going to look cooler than it did last time. And I mean cool in the sense of wow.
Not cold.
Not cold, because the solar corona is like 1,000,000 degrees. But compared to last time, it was close to the solar minimum, the minimum amount of magnetic activity on the sun. There's this 11-year or so cycle, and 2017 was closer to minimum, and 2024, April 2024 is pretty much close right to the maximum of that. So we're going to see the maximum amount of dynamism of activity, and it's going to look, you'll see rays shooting out.
And does that increased activity mean that we have a chance for new discoveries today and increased science?
Sure. So in addition to the science that will be done because of the eclipse, just greater activity levels means that we have more chance to see what the sun is going to do, increased radiation levels, increased activity eruptions that will affect the Earth.
So how does that affect the Earth, and how do we study those effects? What do we have, the tools, the assets to study those effects?
Sure. So we call the whole general thing space weather. So we get increased radiation or what we call coronal mass ejections, chunks of the suns that blow off and hit the Earth. And those affect things like power grids and radio communications and GPS satellites, all of which are everyday real implications for that thing that's 93 million miles away.
And how do you feel? You're a heliophysicist. This is kind of like your Super Bowl.
Pretty much, yeah. You are not the first person to say that to me today.
and are we right?
Pretty much, yes. I mean, this is it. I mean, 7 years, and I like to say there's the diving, trying to reach the goal line from the Super Bowl, what, 15, 20 years ago, that was like, totality, not totality. And yeah, today is it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we will have a whole bunch of fun here.
Yeah, again, eclipses are a unique opportunity to really study the sun and how it affects us. So I know that, again, your fellow heliophysicists and really across the disciplines of science, I know that today is really special for a lot of people.
It is, yes.
Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. All
right, it's time now to check in with our first team along the path of totality. Here is Tahira Allen in Kerrville, Texas, a city so lucky it gets a solar eclipse twice in a single year.
Thanks, Megan, and welcome to Kerrville, Texas. I'm Tahira Allen with NASA Communications.
And I'm Gina DiBraccio, the Deputy Director of Heliophysics at NASA Goddard.
We're live from the Kerrville Eclipse Festival, where tens of thousands are gathering to witness the second solar eclipse that has passed through this town in just 6 months. Now, this is incredibly rare, and people have traveled from all over the world to share in this spectacular moment right here at the crossroads of the eclipse. Now, Gina, we were lucky enough to be here last year for the annular solar eclipse. How does it feel to be back?
The annular was such a spectacular experience, but I'm already feeling even more energy today, and
It's
I'm
like
so
double
excited
the crowd.
to be here. It is. Yeah.
No, and we have a full day of celebration in store. You know, the town really turned out for this event. This morning we heard from the mayor, and we are surrounded with food and shopping and different activities. I think I saw the Texas State Astronomy Club here giving out free telescope viewings. So it's just a really, really special moment for people to come together and enjoy this celestial event.
It's right to hear it. And you know, we had some cloud coverage today. It's looking to be pretty
it's
good,
going back and forth. So, you know, fingers crossed.
Regardless of how this turns out, we have live music and dancing afterwards. So it's going to be a good day.
Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, this is going to be my first total solar eclipse.
Awesome.
And so last year was incredible with the annular. Folks, if this is your first total solar eclipse, let us know in the comments wherever you're watching. We'd love to hear it. So this is also a good time to remind everyone that it is not safe to look directly at the sun without specialized eye protection for solar viewing. Now that is except during the brief phase where the moon is completely covering the sun, and that will only be for those in the path of totality. Now we have a special guest that you might recognize popping in to share some important tips to make sure you stay safe during today's events.
Hi, eclipse enthusiast. Lance Bass here, and I want to tell you how to protect those eyes and stay safe during a solar eclipse. During these celestial events, the sun, earth, and moon are in sync, creating solar eclipses. You can look directly at the sun during a total solar eclipse, but only when it's completely covered by the moon for a brief period known as totality. This is a really special moment. At all other times, you should wear eclipse glasses so that you don't say bye to your vision. Seriously. And eclipse glasses are not the same as regular sunglasses. No, they're not. Safe solar viewers are thousands of times darker and will have a specific certification that you should look for right here. Don't be a space cowboy and try to look directly at the sun. If you don't have eclipse glasses, you can use an indirect viewing method, like a pinhole projector. You can make one of these with something as simple as an index card with a hole, or a colander, or even your hands. With the sun at your back, you can safely project an image of the sun through the hole onto a nearby surface like the ground. It's gonna be me who is wearing my eclipse glasses, and so are you.
Now, you can't have an eclipse without the sun, the moon, and the earth. And as you heard from Megan and Sarah earlier, we've been hosting a friendly competition to see which one of these three teams that you're siding with today. Now, Gina, I feel like it almost goes unsaid here, but I have to ask. I don't want to assume. Which team are you repping today?
You probably were going to guess sun.
Oh,
Team sun.
Who would have thought?
You're right.
No.
So heliophysics, it's the study of the sun and its influence on everything. And it impacts all of our planets. And today, the solar corona is stealing the spotlight of the show. So Team Sun for me.
I guess it really is the star of the show today. But you know what, Gina? I think I'm going to have to be a little bit biased too.
Okay.
So International Observe the Moon Night, which is NASA's annual celebration of all things moon, actually falls on my birthday this year.
Okay.
So I think I'm having a little bit of a lunar connection.
All right, Team
But for those watching, if you haven't joined the fun yet, you can vote for your eclipse team on NASA's Solar System Facebook, X, and Instagram. We're going to be sharing those poll results throughout the show, so be sure to go vote for your team. Now, also during the broadcast, you can send us questions using #Eclipse on social media. We have teams standing by online to answer, and we're going to be taking some of those questions live on today's show. Now, speaking about taking questions live, Gina, we actually had some kids send in videos before today's show.
Oh, nice.
So let's roll one of those right now.
My name is Jonathan. My question is, will NASA do any experiments during the solar eclipse? Thank you.
Oh, great question, Jonathan. Now, we have a bunch of different experiments that will take place during the eclipse today. So first, we're trying to study the solar corona. So we have NASA's WB-57 high-altitude research jet flying across the path of totality, taking pictures of that upper atmosphere of the sun, that corona, so that we can learn its composition, why it gets to be heated to extreme temperatures. But we also care about the eclipse's impact on Earth and the upper atmosphere. So we're launching 3 sounding rockets up into the atmosphere before, during, and after peak eclipse so that we can study how the atmosphere is changing as well.
So, you know, we're studying it with a plane, we're studying it with rockets.
Exactly.
Any other way?
You know, we have balloons, science balloons that are going up too, and we also have different ways that the public will be able to get involved in some of these experiments too.
Thanks, Gina. And I actually have a great follow-up question to this. This is from Lisa on Facebook, who wants to know more about the sounding rockets. So they ask, why is NASA shooting rockets into the moon's shadow during today's events?
Okay, let's talk more about the sounding rockets because they are a lot of fun. So the first sounding rocket will be 45 minutes before peak eclipse, the next one during that peak eclipse, and the final one after, 45 minutes after. And that's because we really want to understand the difference in density and temperature and these different factors in the upper atmosphere and really get a sense of how the atmosphere changes as the eclipse is coming and passes over. So we have all these rockets going up and it'll be a good day for that.
Great, and hopefully we'll get to see a replay of that later on in today's show.
That's right.
Now, folks, it is really special for us to be back here in Kerrville, Texas, covering today's total solar eclipse. Just last October, an annular solar eclipse passed right through this town. Now, for a location to be at the crossroads of these two incredible celestial events is rare. Let's take a look at how the community has been preparing in the lead up to this big day.
Kerrville is the eclipse capital of the state of Texas. It is known as being the capital of the Texas Hill Country. It's the epitome of Texas. Ranches, deer, beautiful streams like the Guadalupe here.
Kerrville is very welcoming.
It's a wonderful community.
Tight-knit, small.
It has about 25,000 people.
Kerrville is blessed to be in that special square, the annular eclipse in 2023 and the total solar eclipse in 2024.
We're talking about crossroads, you know, we get it twice.
Two eclipses right here, right where I stand. It's statistically extraordinary.
We get two in less than 6 months.
Everybody's excited about it. City council, county commissioners, everybody's working diligently to be able to provide safe opportunity for the influx of people.
This will be the biggest event in the history of the city. And that's why the city is preparing. We're preparing to make the event enjoyable for everybody who wants to see this tremendous natural phenomenon.
I think that Kerrville has done an awesome job of preparing, way in advance.
It's getting that message out to people to make sure that they're taken care of personally, but then there's the science part of it, letting them know what is an eclipse.
And I'm just having a great time going out and talking to civic organizations and clubs and talk about eclipses. So this will be my 4th and 5th solar eclipses.
I've seen total eclipse in Nebraska. I drove 1,200 miles for a little over 2 minutes, and it was well worth it.
And just couldn't believe the experience of the eclipse. I mean, it's still just, it literally gives me goosebumps every time I talk about it. It's a visceral, emotional experience that is just, you have to experience it to understand.
I thought I knew what it would be like, but I gasped at the sheer wonder.
It's going to be you're going to hear that intake of air and awe.
It was the most beautiful natural thing I've ever seen. So to have an eclipse basically in my backyard is just, it's indescribable.
We're here now with Catherine Troach, a telescope operator with the Night Sky Network, who is giving us these high-definition views of the sun that you see in your screen right now of the eclipse over Kerrville, Texas. Kat, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me, and let's thank the weather for cooperating finally.
Right? Oh my goodness.
Thanks, Kat. And so I'm looking at the telescope feed that we have, and we have first contact now here in Kerrville.
Yes.
Okay, so for people who want to become an amateur astronomer, what advice do you have? Where should they get started?
The easiest way to get started is to look up Night Sky Network. Night Sky Network has over 400 astronomy clubs in the United States. You would just use our search function to plug in your city and find the club that's closest to you. And if you don't have a club that's close to you, you can use our coordinator tips to start your own astronomy club.
Wow, that is awesome. And you know what? For folks, if you want some more details on the Night Sky Network and other things on how to become an amateur astronomer, you can visit go.nasa.gov/Night Sky Network. Now, a fun fact about today's broadcast that I absolutely loved learning was that so many of our telescope views that you're going to be seeing today are from amateur astronomers. And so, Kat, again, on this topic of, sky gazing, I heard that those in the path of totality might be able to witness more than just a total solar eclipse today. Could you give us a sneak peek on what we could expect?
Absolutely. So if we have clear skies in the path of totality, as it gets darker, you'll start to see two bright points of light. That would be Jupiter and Venus.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we get to totality, you'll be able to see the fainter planets, Saturn, Mercury, and Mars.
Oh.
And if you're lucky, you'll be able to catch Comet 12P.
Oh, what a crazy cosmic alignment today, So, man.
Great. So for the amateur astronomers that actually want to view today's celestial event, what tips do you have for them?
So, of course, you need to have solar protection. You need to have solar safe glasses, and you need to have solar filters for your telescopes, your binoculars, your cameras. But you can also use indirect viewing like a pinhole projector box, or you can use a disco ball.
A disco ball?
Yes.
Wait, how does this work? Can you walk us through this?
So as the sun hits the mirrors and it'll cast a little reflection onto the surface here, you'll see little crescent shapes as the eclipse progresses.
That is incredible.
We need to keep that disco ball.
Oh, yeah.
Right? No, seriously. So, Gina, didn't you say you could also use your hands?
That's
at one
right.
point?
You know, you can take your fingers and weave them together to let the light project through so that you can see the projection of the eclipse on the ground.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. So a lot of different ways to be able to view today's event.
There's no one wrong way to do it, unless you're
just
using
to do it.
just do it. Just make sure you do it safely.
Yeah. And so, Kat, too, earlier you gave me a little reveal of your shirt, and it is too perfect for today's show. Could you give our viewers a little taste?
Sure, no problem. So if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Totality going on at the moment.
Love it.
Thank you so much for being here, Kat.
Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. And so now coming up soon, we're going to get our first views of the total solar eclipse as it begins in Mexico, sweeping across North America. We have correspondents all along this path who are going to bring you live into the action as it happens. First up, let's check in with Joy Ung in Dallas, Texas.
Thanks to her and Gina. So welcome to the Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Garden. I'm Joy Ung, and as you can see behind me, we have a lot of people eagerly waiting for the total solar eclipse. It's so amazing to hear so many people talk about the sun and the moon, and what makes this day even special is that the eclipse gives scientists a really unique chance to do science. So to tell me more, I'm here with NASA scientist, Dr. Ashley Greeley. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Joy. Thanks for having me.
So firstly, how are you feeling about today?
I'm feeling really excited. The skies are starting to clear out, and it looks like we might get a pretty good show.
Fingers crossed. So earlier in the show, we learned that today's eclipse will look quite different from the 2017 eclipse. We're going to see more structures in the sun's outer atmosphere. So Ashley, can you tell me, why is that different? Why is the sun going to look different, and why is it changing?
Sure. The sun goes through phases, which we call a solar cycle, that last roughly 11 years. And those are periods where the sun is less active and periods where the sun is more active. We're entering a time of solar maximum, which is really exciting because that means that the sun is more active. Its magnetic fields are more dynamic. We may see features here, such as streamers, which looks like little spiky wisps in the sun's atmosphere, which we call the corona, and then little prominences, which look like little peak arcs on the surface of the sun. Yeah, we're really excited to see this, and we hope that we'll see some really interesting features. There may be a little bit of asymmetry as well in the magnetic fields, and I don't know, I guess we'll have to find out in about an hour.
So the sun is changing. So do those changes affect life on Earth at all?
Sure, yes. The sun does affect life here on Earth. We have a term that we call space weather, which applies to the field of study of everything from the sun to the Earth and in between, and how that affects life here. We are fortunate that on Earth, we are protected from things coming from the sun by our magnetic fields, which shield us from those explosions that come from the surface of the sun that we talked about. And those can result in really fun occurrences, such as the aurora. There can be some negative side effects, but those are mostly limited to things that are outside our magnetic fields. The storms from the sun can interfere with satellites, and it's something we really have to think about as scientists as we start to plan for putting humans on the surface of the moon or potentially sending them to Mars. Those energetic particles that result from the sun can impact humans, so that's just something that we have to learn about and take into account.
So the sun is always there, of course, but why are eclipses a good time?
E aí, galera? Estamos de volta. Vamos ver se vamos conseguir ficar aqui até o final aí agora, né? Então, vamos ver quem é que está por aqui. O comando é Chief, batendo ponto aí. Grande abraço aí, meu companheiro, amigão. Meu irmão, incrível história, arqueologia e mitologia, Ra, isso aí. Ra é o Sol na mitologia egípcia, né? O deus do Sol, né? Bem-vindo aí. Motoqueiro Cometa tá sumido, rapaz. Tá sumido, onde é que você estava? Acho que você estava numa férias, estava aí longe do Sol, né? Esse cabelo aqui que tá tudo embolado aqui, gente. Correria, correria, né? Peixes e plantas do quintal. Vai dar para ver do Brasil? Não vai dar para ver do Brasil. Infelizmente. Como é que tá o áudio aí para vocês, galera? Fala para mim aí.
Downtown Russellville, Arkansas. As she said, I'm NASA's Jasmine
I
Hopkins,
don't
and
know
I'm
why
coming to you live from the
Brazil
Depot District,
doesn't
where the
have
city is
any
throwing
of
a
this.
massive block party,
Any of this o
all
quê?
in
Eclipse?
celebration
Nós
of the
tivemos
total
há pouco tempo
solar
atrás
eclipse.
aí, a
Now, people
total
in
lá no
Arkansas have
Nordeste,
great reason
e
to
foi
celebrate because this is
incrível.
only the second total solar eclipse visible from the state since it was first
Eu acho
established
que
in
eclipse é
1836, and the next
só
one
10,
visible
né?
from here won't
Tá
happen for
bom.
another 2 decades. So people around me are
Fala
gearing
para
up
mim,
for what
galera.
feels
Áudio
like
tá legal?
a
Tá
once
chegando
in a
bem para
lifetime
vocês aí?
opportunity. Now, it's
Como é
not
que tá
just
aí?
the residents of Russellville that are excited. On average, the city has about 29,000 residents, but for the past 8 months, they've been preparing to receive upwards of 100,000 tourists right here in the city. Now, of course, NASA has been a big part of that preparation. So to show
O
you
Elton
what we've been doing to
Pimentel,
help,
quantos
I have a
dias
video
ou
here to
quantas
show you.
horas vai
So we have
perdurar
been
esse
talking
eclipse?
to the
Ô,
next generation
Elton,
of
é o
space
seguinte,
explorers
ele,
right
tá vendo?
here
A
in
gente já está em
Arkansas.
quase
They started off at
50%
Arkansas
aí, né?
Technical University,
E,
and then
na
they
verdade,
moved
a
on to
fase de
Russellville Space Schools,
totalidade do
where he spoke
eclipse ela é
to
muito
hundreds of
rápida.
students all the way
Ela
from
dura aí
8th
nos
grade to
pequenos
12th
eclipses
grade
2
about this
minutos
total
e nos
solar eclipse.
maiores
We had NASA's
de
Marshall Space
7
Flight
a
Center,
9
the
minutos.
Arkansas
Então,
Air
assim,
National Guard, the US
começa
Space and Rocket
hoje
Center,
e
and
daqui a
even
pouco,
the
né? Quando
Paris
for lá para 5 e
Observatory joining
pouco,
us
já
all the way
5 e
from
pouco, 6
France.
horas, já
Now,
finalizou
during that moment
completamente,
of
tá bom?
totality, Arkansas
É
will
de fato
experience
muito
from
rápido,
94
viu?
to 100% obscurity from the sun, and we'll have 4 minutes and 12 seconds to really soak in that fantastic cosmic event. Now, until that moment, of course, we are telling the residents to stay safe, keep
E
those
aí,
solar
será
eclipse
que vai
glasses
dar para a
on.
gente
But
ver
now let's
aí
go from Arkansas to
o
Illinois.
cometa? O que
Let's
vocês
Blair
acham?
Allen, how are things looking for you?
Jasmine, we're super excited here because crowds are filing into the stadium. But the main story here is the weather. Everything looks absolutely good and clear for totality today. We're very excited. We're just hoping, just like 2017, a little cloud
Vivem
doesn't come
falando,
in and obscure
professor,
things.
fiz essa
But I tell you
pergunta
what,
porque vivem
there's been a
falando de
total solar
3
eclipse
dias
here
de
in
escuridão.
2017.
Não, mas
Observations did
nesse
not
caso,
stop
no
at
caso
SIU.
dos
Joining us now are
eclipses, viu,
two
ô
SIU
Elton?
students who
O
actually did
que
some observing.
acontece, gente?
This is
A gente
Hallie and Paige. Now,
na
Hallie,
verdade,
I know that
o
you guys went
eclipse
to
é quando a
Australia
Lua
in
passa ali
2023,
entre a
and you
Terra e o
observed
Sol.
the
Então, o que a gente
totality using
vê,
an
o que é
interesting
o
technique. Can
eclipse,
you
é a
tell us about that?
projeção da sombra da Lua na Terra. E essa sombra, ela se projeta por uma faixa ali só, uma faixa estreita. Então, por isso que, por exemplo, vai ser visível lá nos Estados Unidos e não está sendo visível aqui, né? Porque depende da faixa que o eclipse passa. E o Elton está falando aqui, ó, que houve mentiras em cima disso. Olha, falar a verdade para você, viu? O que mais tem em astronomia são mentiras, viu? O pessoal extrapola, o pessoal fala muita coisa. Esse eclipse em especial aí, eles falaram que ele estava associado com algumas premonições, com algumas previsões, não sei, nada disso, galera. Eclipse, na antiguidade, os eclipses eram vistos como um mau presságio, né? Como alguma coisa assim. E parece que muita gente não perdeu essa mania, né? Então, continua aí do mesmo jeito, né? Mandar um abraço aqui para o Artuzito, a Sandra Maria também está com a gente aqui.
Let's go Team Moon. So,
É isso?
as you can see, folks, we've got a lot of exciting things in store all across this country.
O Elton Pimentel, o senhor é unicef, o senhor está no céu, Elton, mas eu tento levar a sério pelo menos a informação, o resto é na zoeira. Mas valeu, obrigado aí por acompanhar, por estar com a gente aqui.
Perfect. Let's do it.
A gente está vendo aí, ó, a evolução. É interessante a gente acompanhar com a NASA aí. É que a gente vê vários, eles mostram de vários locais, né? Aí, ó, a gente está vendo agora de Mazatlán, México, e parece que tinha uma previsão lá de estar um pouco nublado. Lá nos Estados Unidos, pelo menos no Texas, parecia que estava uma previsão do tempo estar nublado, né? Então, é uma coisa legal aqui, é que a gente pode acompanhar de vários locais e, se der sorte, aí pelo menos um deles não vai nublar. Né? Elisângela Zancanaro, Net, querido, salve, 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 Elisângela. Obrigado por estar aí. Gente, como é que tá o áudio aí para vocês? Tá legal? Tá dando para ouvir legal o meu áudio? O BG não tá alto, não? Tá tranquilo? Aí, ó, o pessoal lá da ISS, né, da Estação Espacial Internacional. O pessoal tá lá e eles vão ver o eclipse de lá também, né? Muito legal. Inclusive, se eles mostrarem, ia ser legal para vocês verem exatamente aquela questão da sombra que eu falei para vocês. Muito legal isso. Elisângela, deixando o like e te prestigiando na transmissão. Agradeço demais, Elisângela. Obrigado, viu? A você e a todos que estão aqui com a gente. Eu fico muito feliz de vocês estarem acompanhando aqui. Pedir vocês licença mais um minutinho, que eu vou ter que dar só uma fugida aqui. Já volto.
Definitely taking pictures of the solar alignment. And I think we're very fortunate to be here at this special vantage point to see such a special event at this time. So I'm definitely excited.
What about you, Mike? What's going through your mind as you're preparing to see such an awe-inspiring event?
Well, admittedly, I'm a bit of an eclipse junkie. My first one was like when I was 19 with the homemade telescope in the desert, and a few since then. And actually, during the 2017 eclipse, I was on a chartered aircraft several hundred miles off the coast of Oregon watching it. And I got a strange bucket list, and this is one of the things that's on it, to actually watch an eclipse shadow cross the Earth from space. So I'm ecstatic to see this box gets checked and just to see this amazing thing from up here.
Yeah, the fact that was actually a box on your list is pretty amazing. And then now it's getting checked. So, for those wondering, this is what the moon's shadow will look like to Jeanette and Mike. We're going to show you video.
O Elton tá falando aqui, ó, tem 58 anos, lembro quando garoto houve um eclipse que realmente escureceu tudo. Eu morava em Parnaíba, devia ter 7 anos. Cara, no momento da totalidade, se você estiver no local de eclipse total, escurece tudo mesmo, escurece tudo mesmo, sem dó. É muito bacana, inclusive, de ver, viu? Muito bacana. Eu aconselho, eu acho que são coisas que todo mundo tem que fazer uma vez na vida, tá? Todo mundo tem que fazer uma vez na vida. É bem legal. Galera, vamos deixar o like aí, já deixou? Vamos compartilhar, vamos chamar os amigos aí. Ó. Vem cá, ver a live do Nerd, o Nerd tá lá ao vivo. Bora!
So with the imager on the atomic wave experiment, we're going to look at how these atmospheric gravity waves impact our Earth's climate, how it can impact
Aqui eles estão falando aí, eles vão fazer um experimento durante o eclipse, né? O pessoal da ISS, bem bacana também.
So over the next 2 years, researchers will use an infrared imager to look at the global distribution of these waves as well as their characteristics.
Mike, how does it feel to have a hand in maintaining the space station so that important science like the atmospheric waves experiment can happen?
Well, of course, the main reason we're up here is actually to conduct that science. We maintain the station to keep this platform what it should be, what it was built to be, which is a vibrant laboratory, which covers so many different disciplines on the inside and the
Só
outside.
divulgando aqui, galera, porque na verdade talvez eu nem ia conseguir fazer essa live aqui, acabei resolvendo aqui de última hora aí.
And we get to be the first to see results of just amazing things that are years in the making by a bunch of really smart, ambitious scientific teams on the ground. So that's really where the joy is. Maintaining the station is just like
O Elton tá falando aqui, eu tenho confiança em 3 canais, o seu, Galeria do Meteorito e o Astronews. Astronews ou Astronews, o Elton? Porque tem o Astronews também, que é do Cristóvão, né? Eu agradeço aí, agradeço demais. Valeu demais, cara. Aí, ó, esse tempinho, tá vendo ali, ó? Temos um relógio contando regressivamente ali, menos 28. Menos 28 minutos ali é o tempo que resta para que a gente entre na totalidade do eclipse, né? E o pessoal aí agora dando um toque aí, ó, sobre proteger os olhos, né? Quem estiver lá observando, né? Não é o nosso caso aqui. O pessoal que está nos Estados Unidos, e sempre tem que falar, gente, sempre tem que falar. Quando teve eclipse no Brasil, no ano passado, a gente teve uma galera aí com problema de vista, viu? Teve muita gente com problema de vista. Então é bom vocês saberem, porque esse não vai ser visível para a gente aqui, mas qualquer... Ah, do professor Cristóvão. Do Cristóvão é o Astronews. Tá? É Astronews, não é Astronews, não. Tá certo? Só para...
Eclipse in California. Thank you.
Então é o seguinte, olhar para o Sol direto, nem pensar. Em qualquer momento, com eclipse, sem eclipse, tá bom? Muito perigoso. Nós vamos proteger os olhos aí, porque ficar cego aí de bobeira, não, né? Certo? Isso mesmo.
So again, hashtag Eclipse. Wherever you're watching us, drop that in the comments and we'll try to get to as many questions as we can on the show. Okay, so we have obviously people celebrating with us online and at events across the country. So why don't we check out some of those events again
ADR JP DJ Santos. Seja bem-vindo, esse nome inteiro aí, completo, grande. Bacana, valeu, garoto, por estar aqui com a gente. E Eclipse é um clima muito legal, né? Olha só, eu acho interessante isso, porque junta a galera ali, confraterniza, troca ideia, né? É muito massa isso, né? Isso aí é muito bacana, né?
California Academy of Sciences, yes, they do. They have clear skies. We're very, very jealous over here. And then the Mentor Civic Amphitheater that's starting to fill up. Exactly.
E lembrando aí para vocês, eu falei aqui no vídeo do canal que o pessoal dos Estados Unidos, lá do Norte, estão muito felizes porque nós estamos com um cometa que ainda não está sendo visível para a gente. Ele deve começar a ser visível para a gente aqui daqui uns 5 dias, né? O 12P Poons Brooks. 5, 6 dias ele começa a ser visível para a gente. E existe a expectativa, porque nesse momento do dia ele está muito alto no céu, mas muito perto do Sol, ele está a 27 graus do Sol. Então existe uma expectativa muito grande que esse cometa se torne visível aí durante o eclipse. E vai ser um show, né, galera? Já imaginou? E esse negócio, você olhando aí, você vê a coroa solar aí durante o momento do eclipse total e ainda conseguir ver o 12P Poons Brooks. Vai ser bacana demais, né? Ô, Mona LED, me ajuda aí, nerd, da Atena do Bem. Queremos imagens. Será que São Paulo vai ter enchente hoje? E a polícia? Cadê a polícia? Eu posso ajudar com a imagem do eclipse. Né? O resto é resto. O El está falando aqui, ó, eu assisto muito Humberto Volts, me perdoe falar de outros canais, porém fala muito em outros mundos e domo. O que o senhor me diz sobre isso? Cara, domo é coisa de terraplanista, né? Ô, Elton, primeiro que assim, aqui não tem problema nenhum de falar de canal nenhum, não. Eu acho que é legal, a gente tem mais é que trocar ideia mesmo e falar a respeito do que a gente pensa. experiência, tirar dúvida, tá? Não tem problema não. E elogiar os canais que a gente acha bacana, tá bom? Questão de outros mundos, gente. Pode existir? Pode. Provavelmente existe. O universo é muito grande. Esses seres chegam aqui na Terra? Para mim, não. A física que a gente enfrenta é a mesma deles, né? Então, eles podem estar em um estágio muito avançado fisicamente? Pode. Mas difícil, viu, que ele chegue aqui. Acho difícil. Então, por isso que eu acho muito improvável essas historinhas aí de voador e tal e coisa, tá?
You don't have your glasses, or you just want to see something really cool. Again, put it over your shoulder and hold it. You'll get a big array of all those little eclipses happening.
Então, é isso que eu acho. Agora, a questão o domo, não sei se você está falando do domo, que é a suposta esfera de vidro que cobre a Terra plana e não deixa nada sair da Terra, que é coisa dos terraplanistas, aí não. Aí não rola. A Terra definitivamente não é plana, né? Olha aqui atrás. É plana não. Tá bonita a imagem, hein, gente? Eu acho que o lugar que está mais legal é esse lugar do México aí, que é o lugar que eles estão mais mostrando, né? Tá bem legal, né? O que vocês acham?
Beautiful. Great. So I hope if people have trees near them, they can take a look at that. Steve, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
All right. So the eclipse is getting closer and closer to the west
Aqui
coast
outro
of
lugar do
Mexico.
México, né? Torreón.
Totality there at
Torreón, no México.
in particular 2:07 p.m. Eastern Time. So let's head back over to James at our
E olha
eclipse
aqui
board
embaixo,
for another look at the path
que
to totality.
massa, né? A gente tem até umas manchinhas solares ali, muito legal. Aí o que eu falei, Wellington, sobre a questão da faixa de totalidade do eclipse, tá vendo? Essa faixa escura que está passando aqui é justamente onde vai ser visto o eclipse total. O que está fora dessa faixa não vai ver total, ou nem vai ver, né?
They've been experiencing that kind of crescent sun for a little while now. They're just about 20 minutes out from actually experiencing totality itself. They're going to have a long window where they are 4 minutes and 17 seconds. For some context, back in 2017, the last eclipse that swept across America, the longest time was only around 2 minutes and 40 seconds. That was in Carbondale. This time around, some very long times.
Aí é a sua experiência, né, Wellington?
They're going to get upwards of 4.5
Cada um tem sua experiência própria, né?
But just make sure that you know when to be outside, and as always, access that tool at go.nasa.gov/eclipse explorer. This is going to keep moving on. You see this little thing? I have this actually running in real time. This is our shadow of totality. This is going to continue to move further and further to the northeast and actually make landfall in just a
Aí, tá vendo? Ele tá falando isso ali, ó, é a faixa do eclipse. Então, toda essa extensão dessa faixinha que tá ali, ó, ali em todas as cidades que estão ali naquela faixa, vão ver o eclipse como sendo total, tá?
All right, thank you, James. So now let's introduce you to more of our correspondents along the path, starting first with NASA's Lauren Ward, standing by to show us what's happening in Indianapolis, Indiana.
That's right. Thanks, Megan. We are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indianapolis, Indiana. It is a gorgeous day. Behind me, I have over 50,000 people here to spectate today. Today, we are waiting for a spectacle that is of a celestial kind. Of course, this is most known for the Indy 500, but we are waiting for something a little bit special today. With me, I have
Carolina Martins, vindo no sítio. Parabéns pela transmissão. Obrigado, Carolina. Obrigado por estar aqui com a gente, nos acompanhando. Valeu demais.
It's great to have you. So the Helio Big Year is a celebration of sun science and how the sun touches
Gente, e um negócio muito massa também, parece que tudo dá certinho, né? É o seguinte, hoje é o Dia Mundial da Astronomia, sabiam disso? Olha como que é comemorar o Dia Mundial da Astronomia em grande estilo, hein? Muito bacana, né? Dia Mundial da Astronomia hoje, viu?
We actually, when it's a day like this, as much as it's beautiful for the fans, it's actually very difficult for us as drivers, because as the surface heats up, the oils come to the top of the asphalt and it actually becomes slippier. So that's surprising to people. They think that temperature would mean grip, but it is until a certain point. And then once it kind of crosses over 100 degrees on the surface.
Luciano Garcia, seja bem-vindo aí, Luciano, direto de São Paulo.
How does the sun affect those?
So So we use slick tires. So Firestone tires are slick. On a road car, you have tread, right? Because they're supposed to use in all conditions. Slick tires actually have a bigger contact patch, more surface area, so they generate more grip at a temperature, right? So they operate between 180 to 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, the sun is good until a point. When they go over that 230-degree mark, you start to lose that grip again.
Ooh, all right. Well, we have a little competition going on today. We're trying to determine whose big day is it. Is it the sun's, the moon's, or the Earth? So my question to you is, are you Team Sun, Team Moon, or Team Earth?
That's a hard one, but I'm going to go Team Earth. You know, I just think we're so lucky, especially today with the people that are around us here to be able to witness what we're about to see. Go Earth.
E tá quase, viu? Estamos chegando perto ali da totalidade já, hein? 18 minutos para a totalidade, galera. Tá vendo o contador regressivo que aparece ali de vez em quando ali em cima, à direita, à esquerda, né? Aí, ó, nas cataratas do Niágara. Olha que massa, hein? Cataratas do Niágara. Só que lá tá meio nublado, né? Será que o pessoal de lá vai conseguir ver, galera? Ela falou que tem 500 mil galões de água ali na catarata do Niágara. Nós estamos muito preocupados com ela, viu, amigão? Que mais chique, né? Olha só que lugar bonito. Bacana demais, né?
This is always here. So one of the things that eclipse watchers want to see is how does it interact with
Será que eles vão conseguir ver eclipse? Eu tô achando que ali não vai rolar eclipse, não.
From the sun will be seen in their pink. We'll have to see about that. One thing we do need is a little bit better cloud clearing around here.
Acho que não vai ter eclipse para vocês, não. Acho que é melhor vocês virem ver no NED, assim, vocês vão fazer muito mais.
Who's here? Well, I want to show you our camera from about 500 feet away. Look at all my friendly eclipse watchers. Are you guys ready for an eclipse? Yeah! Whoa, I love the energy. We could use this energy to blow the clouds out of here.
Só na energia mesmo pra galera ali, porque é isso.
It's roughly the size of a football field, and everybody who's here, a lot of people.
É bonito, né? É um lugar bonito, olha. Muito show. Se o eclipse ficar visível dali também, eu vou falar com vocês, né? Ah, a cidade de Nova York ao fundo, ó, bacana demais, né? Muito show.
The river gorge, about 1,000 feet away. Niagara Parkway is lined with people. So it's a beautiful shot over there.
Bacana demais,
we
hein?
appreciate our Canadian friends who have joined us. Now, this our Canadian friends who have joined us.
Lugar lindo, isso mesmo, né? Bacana, não, show demais. E ali é muito massa, cara, porque na época no inverno lá, quando tá nevando e tal, costuma congelar a cachoeira. Então, fica maravilhoso, né? Belas imagens, mas sem eclipse, com certeza. Adriano Isidro, boa tarde. Adriano, DJ Adriano, João Pessoa, Paraíba. Seja bem-vindo aí, Adriano. Prazer que você está aqui no canal com a gente acompanhando. Valeu demais, estacional.
The outreach was a huge success, with thousands of people participating in the events and passing through our exhibits. We just want to thank everyone who came out to see us at all our locations, and we hope you left a little inspired about space exploration and a little wiser about all NASA's missions. Okay, coming up, we've got a very special guest for you who's going to share the eclipse with us. CSA astronaut Jeremy Hansen. He's going around the star today, the moon, not the star, the sun.
Aí, então é um astronauta aí que está ali com a galera ali, ó, confraternizando com o pessoal. Muito massa isso também, bem bacana, né? Xandão negou a passagem pelo Brasil, Vieira, de dominar 400. Mauro Reis Dias Guedes, boa tarde, né? Tamo junto, Mauro. Valeu aí por acompanhar com a gente. Carolina está falando, lugar incrível mesmo, né? Campeonato do Niágara é ícone, né? Igual a... Não é bonito igual a nossa Foz do Iguaçu, não, mas acho que chega perto, viu? Foz do Iguaçu é mais bacana. É um lugar muito bonito.
And so hello from way up north.
Now, just like
E
Derek
olha
said,
só
we do
que
have some
massa, o
excellent
pessoal na
weather
rua,
here
né,
in
parado, vendo
We've been here for a
eclipse,
couple of days, and it's actually
procurando
been pretty
ver, né, que
wintry right up
cidade que
until
é
about
essa. Eu não vi a
yesterday.
cidade
We
que
had
é.
snow, it was pretty cold, but you know what? Today, the sun is out, the skies are blue, and it's looking like
É, tá
perfect
falando que o céu
conditions
lá tá
for
azul,
an
ó,
eclipse, or
bacana.
as the Mainers would say, wicked good weather. Now, we're actually standing here in Market Square in Maine, and we are outside of the Temple Theater, where it has actually been in operation since 1919. Over the last 150 years of its operation, it's seen everything from
Parece que o
silent
México é que vai
films
dar
to
show aí, viu?
burlesque
Parece que o
shows,
tempo
and today
melhor
it's got a more
que a gente está
celestial
tendo
show with
é
the
nessa
eclipse.
cidade de
Now, the
Mazatlan,
last eclipse to come
no
through Maine was
México aí.
actually in
Incrível, né?
1963, and that eclipse is only visible for about a minute. In contrast, today's
Ele
eclipse
não
will
vai
be visible
fugir
for
durante o
just
eclipse.
about 3 minutes or so. So
É, eu
everyone
acho que ele não
here
vai
is going to
fugir,
have
não. Acho que
a
vai ficar
lot of
quietinho
time
lá.
to take
Ele
in
está
this celestial
pouquíssimo
show,
preocupado
really
com o que a
soak in the
galera
events.
daqui está
And the next eclipse won't be coming
aprontando
through
com
Maine until
ele.
2079. So
Menezes,
makes
boa
a lot of
tarde a
sense that we've
todos.
got a
Seja
lot of
bem-vindo,
people
Menezes. Boa
here really
tarde.
excited to see this
Everton
once in a
Feitosa,
generation
seja bem-vindo
opportunity
também.
and event. We're all excited. I know everybody
Algumas
here is
pessoas
excited.
falaram de
So we'll
onde
be
estão
here
acompanhando,
waiting
gente.
for the
De
moment
onde
that
vocês estão
we've all been
acompanhando?
waiting for.
Coloca no
Eclipse.
chat aí
With
pra gente
that, back
saber
over to you,
como é que
Megan.
tá a galera aí.
Hey, thank you,
Eu
everyone.
estou
It was
em
really
7 de
cool to see
agosto,
everyone
Minas
along the
Gerais.
path of totality. You can tell we're
Interiorzão
covering
de
a large
Minas, e
swath of
vocês?
land because everybody's in different kind of attire. You know, you have short sleeve shirts somewhere, and then you have like Daryl, who it looks very, very cold, and he does have some cloud cover. So I hope that it does kind of clear out for him.
I feel like we've covered
Carolina
all of those levels
Martins,
of weather over the
Portão,
last
Rio
week.
Grande do
That's true.
Sul. Olha
Here
que
in
bacana.
Cleveland, so, but it's looking nice now, so that's
Legal.
great.
Quem mais?
And actually,
Quem
if
mais
you
está aí?
were watching our
De
screen
onde
here,
que
we
tá?
just had a view of the eclipse
Mauro
in
Reis
Mazatlan,
Dias Guedes,
Mexico.
que
In
já
about
é
10
cliente aqui,
minutes,
né?
that's
Mauro
when
é
we'll start
estacionauta de
seeing
carteirinha
totality in that area. And in that
Três
time,
Fronteiras,
the
São
US's
Paulo,
top doctor
divisa
is
com Mato
encouraging
Grosso do
everyone
Sul
to try
e
and
Minas
watch this
Gerais.
celestial event for our physical and mental
Fabino
well-being.
Lisboa, boa tarde a todos. Boa tarde, Fabino.
Hi everyone, I'm U.S. Surgeon General
Wellington
Dr. Vivek.
Passo do
I'm
Lumiar,
thrilled to be joining
Maranhão.
you today as you
Que
gather
show,
to
Wellington.
experience a truly
Menezes,
awe-inspiring
estou
event,
acompanhando o
the
Maranhão
last
também.
chance that we'll have to see a total solar eclipse in the
Edu Van
contiguous United
Halen.
States for the next 20
Apareceu
years.
buraco negro
The
aqui no meu
sun is a
quarto.
universal
Guarda ele aí,
source of
Edu.
light and life. It contributes to our physical, mental,
M4,
and emotional
seja
well-being,
bem-vindo também.
and it unites all of us. Today, no matter where you're watching
Everton
from,
Feitosa,
whether it's along the
Elon
path of
fugindo.
totality or a
Faz
partial
ideia
solar
do que é
eclipse,
possível fazer
you
quando
are
se tem
sharing the
mais de
experience
R$1
with
trilhão
millions
na
across the
conta?
nation.
Não faço ideia
And
não,
moments
viu,
of
Marcelo?
connectedness
Porque
like this truly
eu
matter.
estou bem longe
Last
disso.
year, I issued a Surgeon General's advisory warning about the public health crisis posed by loneliness and isolation. I shared that our connection with one another is a powerful force
Rosângela
that can
Moreira,
help
boa
protect
tarde.
against the
Rosângela
damaging
de
physical and mental health impacts of
Teresópolis,
loneliness.
Rio de Janeiro. Seja
What better reason
bem-vinda
is there
também,
to come
Rosângela.
together with friends and loved ones than to share a once-in-a-generation
Legal, então
experience
temos gente
like the
aí, ó,
solar eclipse?
de
This is an
Nordeste a Sul.
experience
Tá
that will stay
faltando
with
gente
you
do Norte.
precisely because of the
Boa
awe that
tarde,
it
sou de
inspires.
Montevidéu,
Awe allows us to step outside of ourselves,
Norte de
giving us fresh
Goiás.
perspective
Glaucio
and
de
opening us up
Fátima
to
Rosa
connections.
Machado. Seja bem-vindo,
So
Glaucio.
grab your eclipse glasses and
O
let's enjoy
Júlio
this
de
moment
Jesus é de
together.
São Luís do Maranhão, legal. Marcelo Ferreira,
Excellent, great advice.
respondendo o
Thank you so
Everton,
much.
que
All right, we
mencionou
have time for other
estar
hashtag
Elon em
eclipse
fuga,
questions.
mas
Sarah,
só
are you ready?
zoando.
I am absolutely.
Valeu
All right,
pela
let's take a look at
transmissão.
this video from a
Valeu,
friend.
Marcelo. Show de bola.
Hey everyone,
Como
I'm
na
Scarlett
LED.
Johansson, and
Ser
I play a
empresário rico e
NASA Public
famoso não dá
Affairs
direito de
Director in the
mandar
new film
em
Fly Me to
outro
the Moon.
país.
I hope everyone is
É,
safely
aqui no
enjoying
Brasil é
today's
meio casa da mãe
eclipse. I
Joana. Não,
actually have a question
direito
about the
não dá
moon
não, mas
for
é tudo.
NASA. So
Viu?
during a total solar
André Luiz
eclipse,
Souza, boa tarde,
I've
Ned.
heard that
Manda um
craters
abraço para os
and
meus
features
sobrinhos,
on the
João e
moon play a
Luísa.
role
Valeu.
in what viewers
André
see on
Santo,
Earth.
André é São Paulo. João e Luiz, abração do Nerd aos 50 para vocês.
Question, Scarlett. So,
Fala,
yeah, as
Mário.
we, you know, the moon
Itapetim,
isn't a smooth
Pernambuco.
marble. It actually
Isso
has
aí,
these high
José
mountains
Roberto
and valleys, these
Amâncio.
craters. And as we approach totality, sometimes you'll hear people talk about Bailey's beads. And these are
Carolina
the
tá falando,
last
tá
few
quase,
moments of sun
Carolina. 10
creeping
minutos, ó.
through those deep
10 minutos,
valleys
show de bola.
just before we hit totality.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's so great to have you here to
Eu
answer some
acho o
of these
seguinte,
questions. We
sabe?
plan to take
Eu,
more. If you
sinceramente,
send them in, hashtag
já falei
Eclipse
várias
together.
vezes, eu acho que o
Okay, if
Elon,
you're just joining us, I'm NASA's
a
Megan Cruz,
questão da
and this is NASA
SpaceX,
Lunar
o que ele está
Scientist Sarah
fazendo
Noble. And as you can see, you
na
are
questão
watching the
espacial é
official
legal, é de
NASA broadcast
relevância,
for
né?
today's
Mas não estou
total
aqui para
solar
passar pano para
eclipse.
ninguém,
And
não.
we're in
Agora,
the heart of
sinceramente, eu
downtown
acho que, por
Cleveland,
exemplo, para a
where NASA
gente
is
que
celebrating
lida
this
com
celestial
informação, você
alignment.
perder um
Take a
veículo
look
igual
at our
o
shot from the
Twitter,
air.
É ridículo. Mas é o cara pagar mesmo, igual fizeram aí há um tempo atrás, igual o Reino Unido colocou banca lá com o Facebook, pronto, acabou e normaliza, né? Menezes, deve ser uma experiência incrível acompanhar esse fenômeno natural. Menezes, você não imagina, eu falo que quem sabe como é ver um eclipse total é só quando está lá mesmo. Só quem viu, porque é incrível mesmo. Glaucia de Fátima Rosa Machado, manda um abraço para o meu neto de 9 anos, o nome dele é José Carlos. Então é isso aí, José Carlos. Abraço do Nerd aos 50. Marcelo Ferreira, ele só perdeu para o gatinho de Love, Death and Robots. Isso mesmo, o Homem na Letra está concordando comigo aqui, ó, multa. Se alguém fala zero, tem que responder por isso. Também acho. Acho que ninguém é dono de nada e ninguém tem direito, o dinheiro não pode comprar direito de outras pessoas, não. Ô, galera, eu estou no cafezinho aqui, porque senão não vai não, viu? Dá um gás aí, ó. Nossa live já passou de 80 pessoas, hein? Show de bola, 80 espaçonautas aí acompanhando, hein? Obrigado a todos aí.
NASA's Neil Armstrong Test Facility in Sandusky, Ohio. It's the only place in the world where you can test a full-size spacecraft for all the extreme conditions of launch and spaceflight.
Right now, we have the Orion spacecraft. This is a spacecraft that actually went around the moon.
O Hélio está falando aí, ó, o Elon, se ele tem a verdade, que mostra. Isso é o que importa, não quero ninguém dominando minha vida, é isso aí. Agora eu vou falar com vocês, viu? Na verdade, o fato de você ter um aparelhinho de um celular hoje em dia, sua vida já é... A gente está sendo o tempo inteiro gravado, observado, e é isso aí.
Our center partners with a lot of community organizations to share NASA's discoveries or just get kids excited about.
Olha só como é que tá, galera. Tá chegando lá, hein? No México, hein?
It was really cool to be able to sit like I was an actual pilot flying.
Me recordo de estar na primeira série, eu acho, em 1994, fomos para o pátio assistir ao eclipse. Que show, hein, Carolina? Eu lembro desse eclipse de 94. Eu, nessa época, morava em Belo Horizonte, capital de Minas, né? Estava fazendo faculdade, estudava física na UFMG na época, e a gente foi para o Mirante, que tem do Parque das Mangabeiras, foi um eclipse incrível, inclusive. Adriano Isidro, uma live boa. Isso aí, valeu. O conhecimento liberta, ninguém pode tirar isso de ninguém, é o Wellington Pimentel. Concordo, concordo, porque eu falo com as pessoas. Não fica só escutando o que a gente fala aqui, né? O que eu falo, o que o Serjão, o que o Cristóvão, a gente traz conhecimento para vocês dentro do conhecimento da gente. Mas busca também, né? Vai ler, pega um livro para ler, né? Vamos, né? Não fica só nessa de escutar a gente, não, porque conhecimento tem vários locais, tá? Júlio de Jesus está perguntando, no Brasil vai dar para ver? Não vai, Júlio. Esse eclipse é só na América do Norte mesmo, viu? México, Estados Unidos e Canadá. Isso aí não tem para mais ninguém. O Homo na LED está falando, só para terminar o raciocínio, se no X você vê milhões de vezes muita gente falando que a Terra é quadrada, e no YouTube, né, falando que a Terra é redonda, pode ser que a maioria acredite mais no X. Mas acontece que aqui também está cheio de gente falando, né? Então, na verdade, o que a gente tem que fazer, galera, é filtrar. Por exemplo, vamos falar da questão polêmica aqui. O homem foi à Lua ou não foi à Lua? Busca os fatos, né? Tá, o cara falou que não foi por isso, o outro lá falou que foi por isso. Pesa um e outro, bota na balança. Qual que vai fazer mais sentido aí para vocês? Né? Aí vê outras opiniões de gente séria, cientista, de especialista, né? E pesa para você tirar as suas conclusões, né? Então é bem por aí, tem que ser assim, né?
Remind everyone what we should be doing today.
Okay, you've got some glasses.
That's right. That's right.
The glasses are
all ready.
Absolutely essential.
Olha só que coisa linda que tá, hein, galera? Tá quase, hein? Quase.
have that moon move in front of the sun, and we don't want you to damage your eyes.
E eu acho que uma coisa muito legal também quando você está presencial no eclipse ali, porque durante esse tempinho, né, que é muito curto ali, né,
Can't see a thing.
But when you look at the sun, you will be
esse tempinho que é muito curtinho,
Administrator, thank you so much. We really
a
appreciate
gente
the time
consegue ver os
here.
planetas,
And now we're
entendeu?
going to
Você
head
vai,
back over to James and
igual,
the
por exemplo,
eclipse
agora está
board.
tudo no céu. Júpiter, Saturno, Mercúrio, Vênus, dá para ver tudo. Muito legal, né? Everton Feitosa, é tudo CGI, tá tudo dentro do domo. Aham. Tá. Tá assim, viu, Everton? Pessoal é fera aí no CGI, viu? Nossa. CGI deve dar dinheiro, né? Aí, olha lá onde é que a sonda do eclipse tá caminhando. A bolinha ali que está perto do braço esquerdo dele ali, ó, do apresentador, é onde está indo agora o eclipse, onde está sendo visível, tá vendo? Isso é uma projeção da sonda do eclipse. O Elton está falando que o maior sonho dele era um irmão em um universo em perspectiva de volta pelo universo para desbravar. Bacana, tá? Show.
You're not going to be able to see that from the ground, but looking from space, you see that really cool effect of kind of the rippling there here. So let's just preview some things to come here. Mazatlan, they have that last little crescent sliver of sun. For now, if you're in that area, make sure you keep your glasses on until that sun is completely blocked out by the moon. That's going to be in just a few moments. You're going to have a long duration there, 4 minutes and 17 seconds. That sounds like a lot of time, but it's going to look like that.
Alô aí para Goiás. Toda a cidade aí de Goiás aí, ó, todo o estado de Goiás. Da ação, toda a cidade de Goiás é foda, né? Todas as cidades de Goiás. Show. Mas não precisa desse exagero para chamar atenção, não. Só dá o toque, eu tô de olho vocês aqui, galera. Aí, gente, menos de 3 minutos, né? 2 minutos e 20, né? Tá na hora de eles colocar esse negócio na tela inteira, nem me parar de mascar aí. O que vocês acham?
This is the last little bit here. Again, I'm always keeping an eye on that weather. And also one little note about our tool here too. If you wanted to see, this little icon kind of previews what the expected eclipse is going to look like at that given time. All these little googly eye features are clickable, hyperlinkable. You can kind of click on that. It'll snap you right to that exact time to get an idea for what it's going to look like in your neck of the woods. But for now, the big moment's coming up. Back to you, Megan. Let's check it out.
All right, thank you, James.
Deixa aí. Né? Até eu vou sair da tela aqui, vamos deixar só ele. Show de bola, né? Olha só. Incrível, né? 1 minuto e 33. E aí o bacana, que é isso? Eu vou te falar, é muito sofrimento.
So science that they're going to conduct is about the WB-57. So we're going to fly some planes over and make sure that we can actually see that solar corona.
Tá quase total, né? Agora é na hora de deixar quieto lá na imagem pra gente, né?
Yes, it's almost there. You know,
1
we have a
minuto aí.
view right now of
E aí na totalidade aparece a coroa solar, né? Que é show demais. Né?
Because, as you said, this is going to be a huge part of what we do in
Lembrando que o eclipse que a gente teve no Brasil no ano passado foi o eclipse anular, né? Não chegou a aparecer a coroa, né? Mesmo sendo total, né?
We're seeing a lot of clouds, but hopefully a shadow as well as we're coming in to totality there. And so yeah, so these WB-57s are
Eu tô falando aqui, para mim é loucura, só existe em ficção, mas é engraçado ver elas. Tá certo. Eu tô falando que ele vai trabalhar. Valeu, professor, abraço. Até outro momento, abraço. Obrigado aí por acompanhar. O Romo na Leste está falando que é interessante a informação de quantos graus de temperatura baixa nesse momento. Eu não vou saber te falar, não. Eu já li algumas vezes e baixa bastante, viu? Baixa bastante. Olha aí. Então aí, ó. Estamos aí, ó. E essas bolinhas em volta do Sol, tá vendo aí? Os pontinhos aí, ó. Já é a coroa aparecendo. Olha que coisa incrível, cara. Então, estamos aí com a coroa solar. Lindíssima, né?
Wow. So
Lindíssima.
again, totality
Você
here
tá
in
doido.
Mazatlan, Mexico, the first community in North America to experience the
Aí,
moon
aqui, ó, é a
completely
primeira,
eclipsing the sun. And if you are in
a primeira
Mazatlan right now, it is
cidade
now safe to
da América do
remove your
Norte a
eclipse
ver
glasses for the next 4
o
minutes.
eclipse total, essa cidade de
And
Mazatlan,
you mentioned some of those
no
pink filaments
México,
that we're
tá?
seeing, right? Can you talk us a little bit through that,
Incrível,
Kelly?
né?
Yeah, so those pink
Mas o
filaments,
12P não apareceu para tinha que
that's why
abrir mais
they're
essa
very
imagem,
pink and
né?
they're hanging out
Tem
there.
uma imagem
Those
mais
would be the
aberta para a
start
gente
of
poder ver
space
o
weather.
cometa aí
So there
também.
tons of material,
Incrível,
waves,
né?
tons of material that could possibly be one of those explosions for space weather. The reasons why we really study the sun and try to understand how to live with
Cara,
the sun.
bonito demais, viu?
Can you
Muito
explain
bonito.
why space weather is
Realmente é
important to
um
us here on
evento
Earth?
que
Definitely. So
a
it's
gente
not
não
just the
cansa de
satellites
ver,
that
né?
are interested in space weather.
É,
It's
mano,
also
com
our
esse,
power grid.
com esse sol
Because of those
pertinho
energetic
desse jeito,
particles
acho que nós vamos ter
coming
tudo
from
que botar
those
óculos
big
aqui.
explosions that can happen in the sun. That could damage our power
Valeu
grids.
aí.
It could also do things like
E aqui, ó,
intermittent
essas
GPS signals.
bolinhas,
I know we
algumas
all use our
bolinhas que
phones to
aparecem, alguém
navigate
tá vendo, o
everywhere.
pessoal tá
So if
vendo
we
aí?
didn't have that, that would be
E
a
são
big problem.
chamadas
So we're
pedras de
looking
Bailey,
to
viu?
understand it better so we can all
Pedras
mitigate
de
all those things.
Bailey é um
Some of the
fenômeno
movement we're
também
seeing here is just our
da
telescope
totalidade do
operator
eclipse,
adjusting
tá?
because again they needed to make some changes
Quando
for
vai ter no
before
Brasil esse
totality.
aí?
Now they're viewing it a different way, and then
Tem que
after
ver, viu? Nós
totality,
tivemos
we
ano
see some
passado,
changes
agora
there
acho
as
que
well.
demora
But
uns
I
5 ou
really
6
just
anos
cannot
ainda aí.
believe
Tem que
how
ver, eu não lembro de
crisp it is.
cabeça, não.
As we said, it's not a marble, but I mean just the view of it is so crisp with these
Então
little
tá aí, ó.
again those filaments are just amazing that we can
Cara,
see
olha a
that to
coroa
such
solar, né?
accuracy, you
É,
know?
Right, definitely.
é
And
muito
also
bonito, né?
the
Muito
white
massa
fuzz.
de
I
ver
mean,
isso, né?
that's you're seeing something that's a million
O
degrees
Everton tá
just
falando aí,
hanging
lindo
out all
demais.
around the
Lindo
sun.
demais,
And you know,
verdade, cara.
what is it? 3
É por
billion
isso que eu
Earths can be
falo,
inside.
não tem como você
There's a lot of
ver um
atmosphere
negócio
there,
desse aí e não
all around
emocionar, né?
there,
Não,
just hanging out, being very warm. And so
a
one
voz
of our
embarga
messages is
mesmo,
one
e
of
o olho
the
enche de lágrimas,
B-57s
porque
are
é lindo
addressing.
mesmo,
There
né?
you go, WB-57, our pilot.
Yeah.
He's flying. So basically, Kelly, he is going to fly and try to chase down the shadow for as long as possible, keep up with it as long as possible.
Aqui, ó, um avião de pesquisa, parece que ele está fazendo
Can chase it for a while
alguns
and get an extra
estudos
2
ali.
minutes. So on the ground we can only get 4.5 minutes, and they're going to get 6.5 for that plane.
I love that they're waving to us. Oh, there you go. And now we're flipped. Now we're seeing the
Olha
flight.
só
So
que
again, they
visão
are
aí da
in
Terra,
night. I
galera.
mean, it looks very
Olha lá,
dark.
olha a
Only some light
curvatura
on
da
in
bichinha
the
lá.
horizon, yeah?
Right, yeah, and that's what we'll expect
Bacana demais,
wherever
né?
we see totality.
Oh.
Is the night sky is very dark. You might even see some planets or stars.
Tá vendo ali como é
And
que
then
tá
you'll see
escuro
like
na
twilight
atmosfera
all
ali,
around
ó?
in 360
Tá
degrees.
escurecendo?
What an amazing vantage point as well. My gosh.
Carolina tá falando, o
I'm very
universo é
jealous.
incrível. É
Kelly, are you
incrível,
jealous?
viu,
I kind of
Carolina? É
feel like I'm
incrível
a little
mesmo.
jealous. Yeah, I kind of want to, see if I can make a faster plane so we can,
Right,
follow it
well,
all the whole way.
Plus, they're up above the clouds, so they
Yeah.
don't have to worry
about the
as much as
clouds.
we do.
Exactly.
Well, I do want to
Só
say a big
temos que
thank you
agradecer a
to
Deus
the
por esse
WB-57
espetáculo
pilots
São
and
Luís
the
do
whole team
Maranhão.
supporting them for that
Júlio
great
de
view. That
Jesus,
was
isso aí,
awesome.
Ju,
Kelly,
de fato.
you have a wealth of knowledge
Uma
when it
obra
comes to the
incrível,
sun.
né?
And for those watching, if you're interested in learning more with her, check out her and other experts featured in the Sun series of NASA's Curious Universe podcast.
O Homem na
The
Leste
QR
está
code
falando.
will pop up on
Imagino
the
que esse
screen,
momento
and that'll take you
realmente
straight to the
proporciona
exhibit
uma
episodes.
oportunidade muito
Again, look
boa
at that
para
double box we got there. We're
estudo
showing
mesmo.
you
Nossa, sem
amazing
dúvida,
views
né?
during this broadcast. A big thank you, actually, to the Solar System Exploration Research Virtual Institute, or
Aí, ó, do lado
for
direito
providing
aqui
the task
já é a
in Mazatlan.
imagem
Yeah, the
daquele
survey team
avião
down
lá,
there,
do
the survey team is based out of Ames,
WB-57,
but it is a collection
a,
of teams across the country and across the
a
world that are
aeronave de
sort of studying
pesquisa.
the
A
intersection of
imagem que ele está
science and
fazendo.
exploration, helping us get ready for our next trip with humans to the moon.
Show de
Yeah,
bola,
that's
né?
amazing. Okay, totality
O
is
Everton tá
actually
falando que viu
about
o
to
Rally
end in Mazatlan. Let's
86.
keep watching our screen
Eu
right
vi
now.
também,
Again,
viu,
what are we
Everton? Tem
watching,
até
Kelly?
We're watching for the
um
diamond
vídeo que eu
ring
fiz do
effect. So
Cometa
that's when
12
the
P
first
Poons
bright
Brooks
light
aqui
will
no
start to
canal, que
see
eu
it on
mostrei
the
até uma
side there.
foto que eu fiz
So you're going to put your glasses
na
on right
época,
now to
viu?
protect
Nossa,
those
foi realmente inesquecível. Bacana mesmo. Olha aí, galera. E agora nós já estamos saindo aí do eclipse total, né? Olha lá, já voltamos agora já estamos saindo da totalidade. Alguém estava falando da questão do momento ali do eclipse, e tem algumas coisas que é muito legal quando você está em loco, que é ver a reação dos animais, dos insetos. Parece que tudo dá uma pirada assim, no relógio biológico deles, né? existe uma
Well, thank you so
ventania
much, Kelly. I
típica
really
desse
appreciate your
momento do
time here with us.
eclipse,
It was so fun
que a
to
gente
learn
chama de
about
vento
the
do
science
eclipse.
and actually see
Você
the
sente a
first
temperatura
eclipse
dar uma
for
arrefecida,
North America
são
here. So
várias
thank you so much.
sensações, cara. Então, assim,
All
por
right,
isso
as
que
you
eu
can see,
falo,
there's a
porque
lot to learn about our sun and
você vê o
eclipses. So to
eclipse ao
explain it all in a
vivo
really fun way
é
for kids,
único, porque
NASA
é um
developed a
show de
clever game
sensações
called
também,
Snap It.
né?
We have
Então,
another QR
é
code
muito
coming on your screen
bacana.
right now. Just
A gente
scan
está
that
tendo,
code, or if you're watching us on your phone, all you have to do
graças
is
a
screen grab it, press on it
esse
later,
negócio aí hoje
and you can check out that game. Also, the website, if that's
graças à
easier to use,
tecnologia, a gente pode acompanhar. Porque antigamente você via a foto no jornal, tempão depois, quando não tinha internet, né? Então, graças à tecnologia, a gente pode ver isso aí, tudo é muito bacana, mas a explosão de sensações de quem está no local lá, cara, é inigualável, viu? Inigualável mesmo.
NASA's next step in establishing a long-term presence on the moon is sending 4 astronauts to fly around it with the Artemis 2 mission.
Então, tá aí, ó,
Part
missão
of the crew's
Artemis
training
aí.
has been to study images from NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, or LRO. The spacecraft launched in 2009 and continues to use 7 instruments,
Alcântara
including a
Space, seja
high-resolution
bem-vindo, meu
camera
caro.
to
Boa
help us
tarde para
learn
você
more
também.
about the moon's surface. Because of LRO, we now know more
Queria até
about the
pedir
moon's
desculpa para o
topography
Alcântara aí, que
than
na última
any
live
other
do Astro
planetary body
3
in the solar system,
foi meio
including
tumultuado, eu
Earth.
não consegui te responder,
The Artemis
Alcântara.
2
Você tinha
crew
falado
used
que estava
LRO
saindo
data and photographs
do
to
NED
learn
ao
how
50
to
aí do vídeo do
identify
Titã,
lunar
de Titã,
landmarks they'll see from Earth,
aliás,
and to seek
da
out
Europa
sites
Clipper,
of
né? Desculpa,
scientific
e
interest,
chegando lá
like
para ver
possible landing spots
a
for
live do
future
Astro 3.
explorers. While helpful for planning Artemis missions, people back here on
Da
Earth
Atena, qual o
also
seu
used
nome?
LRO
Da
to
Atena.
predict the shape of the moon's shadow
Brincadeira,
or
Mário
umbra
Fontana,
during
viu,
total
o
solar
Alcântara?
eclipses.
Mário
The moon's
Fontana.
shadow will change throughout the eclipse depending on the lunar terrain and the elevations of observers on Earth. People may even see what looks like an arc of solar diamonds around the moon
Olha
as
lá,
sunlight
as-
peeks through lunar features like craters.
Tava
That's a
mostrando
look
ali
at
as
your Artemis
pedras de
moon.
Bailey. Aí,
All
que
right,
agora a
joining us
gente
on the
já está
host
em
desk
outra
now
cidade
is
do
a
México, a
familiar
Torreón.
face here. Oh, actually, we have. Sorry, Snoopy. Oh, I just
Torreón.
revealed that it's Snoopy. Well, I just
Né?
want to wave real quick to the crowd here at the Great Lakes Science Center, just outside of our host desk, waving at us, waving at the I'm waving back at them like they can see me.
A galera lá tá
But I did
animada.
just spoil the surprise.
Gente,
We do have
e
Snoopy
só
here, our
lembrar para
chief
vocês aí, né? Se
safety
você curte
officer here
astronomia
at NASA,
aí
and he's here to tell us
e
how to
quiser
safely watch the eclipse. So, Snoopy, if we were to watch
adquirir
the
camisas
eclipse
aí com
today
temas
before
astronômicos, tem a
totality,
nossa loja NED aos
should
50, né?
what should we do?
Vou
That's
colocar
right. You
aqui
should
para
have your
vocês
glasses
aqui.
on. That's right.
Well, and what about during totality, Snoopy? Can we take them off then? Yeah, let me help you out here.
Oh, Snoopy, there I can see your shining bright eyes. I love Snoopy. He's so funny. Now,
Tá aí,
Snoopy,
ó, no
I have
chat
to
aí, a
ask
loja
you a question,
NED
okay?
aos
So
50. Eu vou
today
até
we've been
fixar ali.
polling everybody, asking for the total solar eclipse today, who is the big star of the show, right? Is it the Earth? Is it the Earth? Is it the moon? Is it the sun? Okay, but you have to pick one.
You have to pick one.
You have to pick one. You don't
No,
want to pick one?
all of them.
all of them are great. That's right. Snoopy, thank you so much. I know you're super excited to see the total solar eclipse today. We're glad to have you here. Bye.
Vou
All right,
lembrar
now
da
let's head
amiga de
back over to
infância e não
Tahira
esquecerei
in
mais.
Kerrville,
Com essa
Texas.
até memorização por associação.
All right, thanks, Megan. I mean, what an incredible view from Mazatlan, Mexico.
That was amazing.
And folks, as you can see in your screen right now, we are less than 1 minute away from the eclipse crossing over Torreon, Mexico. Gina, how fast is this moon shadow moving right now?
I mean, it's flying. It's going about 1,900 miles per hour as we're chasing it across the U.S.
That is incredible. And so, you know, in Mazatlan, we were able to see the diamond ring effect.
That's right. It was beautiful.
So hopefully we'll be able to see that in Torreon right now.
Yeah, we're watching that live feed.
Yes, just to see this sliver crossing over the moon.
That's right. We're getting so close there.
We are
Hopefully
getting
we'll see
so
that diamond
close.
ring too.
Wow. Look at this. And so we're about 10 seconds
All right.
away.
Here we go.
Let's take it in. Wow. What a
And it's
spectacular.
going into totality.
Wow. There
Here
you
we
have
go.
it. We are in.
Yep, that diamond ring came through, and we see a little bit of those Bailey beads too as we're looking at it. Those kind of the lights trickling through around the surface of the moon, coming through the peaks and valleys.
So what are we viewing on the left-hand side? This this almost pink color effect.
Right. And so as we just heard from the last totality, these pink fingers are popping out a little bit. And those are those solar prominences. They're appearing pink because of the helium rich. But we can see it. Let's focus on the corona here, that glow that we're getting. And we can see basically these streams that are coming out, a lot of that energy and brightness that we do not have the ability to see
Olha
on a
só,
day-to-day basis.
naquela cidade do México lá, né?
Able to see that corona nice and bright
Puxar
coming
a
through into
câmera
our
para a gente ver a imagem do cometa, né? Em alguma dessas aqui deve surgir, viu? Quanto tempo dura? A fase de totalidade, igual vocês viram, é muito rápido, né? 2, 3 minutos. Né? Aqui nós estamos em outra totalidade em Torreão. Né? Mas é de 2 a 7 minutos a fase de totalidade, o eclipse inteiro. Para começar a cobrir, a Lua começar a cobrir o Sol e sair, aí leva em torno de 2 horas e pouco, tá certo? Francisco de Assis Gurgel, seja bem-vindo, meu caro. Boa tarde. Como é que está o fenômeno por aí? Tá show. Já tivemos, Francisco, a primeira totalidade, mas agora a gente vai acompanhar, que a NASA vai acompanhar a faixa de totalidade do eclipse. Então nós vamos ter várias aí. Também outra, é a segunda cidade, aí, que é Torreão, no México. Aqui, ó, tem uma pergunta justamente em torno daquilo. A temperatura muda durante a totalidade.
And I mean, I'm just staring at this view of totality that we have in Torreon.
So we're about halfway through totality right now in Torreon, Mexico. And again, I know folks said that this is almost double totality than 2017, right?
That's right. That's right. And so in 2017, we had a little more than 2 minutes. So we're lucky enough this time that we have over 4 minutes in some places too.
This is so beautiful. And so our next question from Sibel on Instagram wants to know, why is the sun more active right now?
So the sun is more active because we have an 11-year solar cycle. The sun goes from solar maximum to solar minimum, where it's changing its level of activity. Oh, and as you're seeing the screen, so I see in that the bottom right there, we can see that prominence extending out. And as we heard earlier in Mazatlan, that is potentially the beginning of space weather activity. So we're talking about solar maximum. If there's a time to see any of that space weather activity,
O Campo está falando aqui que vou falar que erraram os cálculos e muitos tiveram que viajar às pressas. O Campo, eu não vi nada a respeito disso, não. E é estranho porque, tipo assim, prever eclipse é uma coisa que a gente já faz há tantos anos, né? Então não tenho certeza, não. Mas, né, pode ser assim, não é difícil, não. Ned, está acompanhando de onde? Eu estou em Sete Lagoas, Minas Gerais.
Decrease in activity going back down to solar minimum.
And so, Gina, I've got time for one more quick question from Christopher on X, who wants to know which other planets have the best eclipses.
Oh, okay. Well, that's right. So eclipses don't only happen on Earth. Let's talk about Mars, for the fact that Mars does have eclipses when the moon crosses in front of Mars. Mars has 2 moons, and the rovers on the surface have captured images of those.
But no other planet has a view quite like this, right?
Nope, that is special for us. Just the distance and the size of the moon makes it such that it will completely block the sun as it's doing today. Wow.
Aqui, ó, o Nalet fez uma observação aqui bem legal, que é o seguinte, né? Os antigos adoravam ver o Sol. Pois é, imagine se esse eclipse fosse de uns 10 minutos só. Pois é interessante porque a gente tem aí o pessoal lá, os egípcios, né? Eles entravam em pânico, né, quando tinha eclipse, né? E várias outras culturas, né? Os egípcios principalmente, porque o principal deus deles, que era o Ra, né, era personificado no Sol, né? Deus Amon-Ra, né? Então, assim, eles de fato entravam em desespero ali, né?
We see this with our own eyes. You can hear people big moment right here in Kerrville. For now, let's check back in with Lauren at the Indianapolis.
O Cata tá falando aí, ninguém vai dar um membro de presente, tira o escorpião do bolso. Isso aí, garoto, tira o escorpião do bolso.
For now, we have a very special guest, NASA's very own Pam Melroy, Deputy Administrator and former astronaut. Pam, it's good to see you.
Oh, it's great to be here. I'm so excited.
It's very exciting. So what's it like being in Indianapolis for an exciting event like this?
Well, it's a beautiful day here. And I love the fact that we're here with thousands of people in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but we're joining with millions of people around America looking up together to the sky.
Absolutely. And tell me, is this your first eclipse?
It's not my first eclipse, but it will be my first totality. I've seen several partial eclipses, but there's something mystical and mysterious and in some ways unifying about a total eclipse. And we're all going to feel it together.
Absolutely. We could not have lucked out more on this weather today. So as a former astronaut, we know that sun science and space weather are very important to keeping our astronauts safe. What is space weather and why do we care about it? What is NASA doing to study it?
Yeah, that's right. It's actually very important. It is of concern for astronauts who are in space because they experience the radiation of the sun that comes from solar flares and solar weather. But the reality is it's also affecting life here on Earth. It impacts the upper reaches of our atmosphere called the ionosphere, which is an electrified part of our atmosphere that is a conduit
E
for
aqui um negócio interessante, né, gente? Que aí a gente pode sentir de fato toda a questão da faixa de onde o eclipse passa ali, a faixa de sombra do eclipse, que são várias cidades, né? E todas vão passando ali por faixas por eclipses totais, né? Então, essa transmissão da NASA é muito legal por causa disso, né? Muito interessante isso, né?
So we are hoping to learn today more about how that happens and why that happens so that we can better predict those solar flares and those things that impact us here on Earth.
Yeah, that's all extremely important and something that we're learning a lot today too. Pam, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
As we've learned, solar eclipses are very important to learn for many, many reasons. We have radio telescope operators who are studying the eclipse today for this very reason. Let's take a look at that work.
When the moon blocks the sun during a solar eclipse, there is a noticeable impact on Earth's upper atmosphere, known as the ionosphere. These changes can affect radio communications, including amateur radio, also known as ham radio.
Ham radio is a way you can talk to people all around the world. You set up a radio and antenna. You talk into the radio sends a signal up to the antenna sends a signal up to the sky. It bounces off of the electrified layer of the sky back down to Earth, where you can talk to the person on the other side.
During the 2024 total solar eclipse, the HAM-SCI Citizen Science Project is inviting ham radio operators to transmit radio signals. The goal is to have people make as many radio contacts as they can with operators in different locations during the celestial event. By recording how strong their radio signals are and how far they go, ham radio operators and scientists can learn about how the ionosphere changes during solar eclipses.
Sometimes you can talk around the world and sometimes you can't. And that's all based on what the ionosphere is doing, what the sun is doing. When it works and you are able to talk to these faraway places, I find that really magical.
To learn how you can participate, follow Do NASA Science on X and Facebook.
Ó, o Canto tá falando aqui lá na expansão, deram membro de presente, só que ele estava trabalhando na live e não pôde ver. É isso aí.
The temperature is dropping. As you can see, I have to throw on a jacket. The sky is dimming. We're on the edge of our seats, and we are joined now with astronaut and commander of the Artemis II mission to the moon, Reed Wiseman. Reed, it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you. The crowd noise, like the fact that the sun is behind the clouds most of the time and peeking out, it's so wonderful.
I know.
Thanks for being here, Reed.
As you can hear, like, we are ready.
We are right there.
So tell us, Reed, obviously everybody is excited, but have you seen a total solar eclipse before?
Never a total. So I will share this darkness with you.
Same.
The whole crowd the first time.
Wow, this is incredible. So, what considerations do you and your fellow Artemis astronauts need to think about when related to the sun when traveling back to the moon?
Well, it's great to see Pam Melroy on your last clip, a dear friend of mine. So it was nice to see Pam's face over there. But when we're heading
Ó, Loco Souza, já que o sol escondeu, eu vou aproveitar para dormir mais cedo. Quando ele fondou, 5 minutos, viu? Dá uma cochiladinha aí, então eu
The
volto.
Apollo astronauts dealt with it, and we've dealt with it for a long time on the International Space Station, and we have a lot of data from the moon, from our NASA probes that have gone out there and collected. So we think we know what we'll encounter.
Great. Okay. And tell me, Reed, how does it feel to be the commander of NASA's first crewed mission going back to the moon since Apollo?
I'm flying with Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen. The dream
team, yes.
I know. So every day that I go into work, I won't say every day is easy, but every day is fun. And I'm flying with people that have principles, they have integrity, and they have just so much knowledge and professionalism. It's a dream come true. And getting to work with the whole team, the international team, it's the best.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Reed. You know,
Anderson Rodrigues está perguntando, alguém sabe dizer do Rio de Janeiro? Aqui dá para ver do Rio nada, viu, Anderson? Esse eclipse...
all in on it, live your best life, be as good a professional as you can, and someday apply for the program. And we look forward to seeing your application come across our desk.
Thank you, Reed, and good luck on
Esse eclipse é só do norte mesmo, viu?
If anybody
Só do norte mesmo, não dá para ver nada aqui do Brasil, da América do Sul, da América Central, praticamente para baixo do México, não dá para ver nada.
From teachers to scientists to even those in our armed
Só pela internet.
we are
Fica
looking
aqui
for a
comigo.
diverse group to
Fica
take
aqui você vê tudo, aqui no Nerd.
into the cosmos. You can apply now
Pode ser em qualquer lugar do planeta, desse planeta do outro, tá vendo? Brincadeira.
Now, timing is everything when it comes to pulling off successful science during an event like today. Let's hear from a very special guest who also knows a thing or two about perfect alignments.
Aí, o Dallas, no Texas, aí, ó, tá quase também, ó. Dallas é o local que o Sérgio tá lá em Dallas, eu acho, parece. O Anderson está falando aqui, obrigado pelo feedback. Tamo junto, Anderson, tamo junto.
I specialize in predicting the path of fast-moving objects at a split-second pace. At my position, it's key to know exactly where and when two paths will cross. Just like NASA needs to know when the Earth, Moon, and Sun will align to predict the solar eclipse. Working it all out on the whiteboard is one thing.
They're ready for solar eclipse delay at Volcano Stadium.
But seeing it in action is a whole other ballgame. And on April 8th, you can see just what I mean as a total solar
Chegou aí, meu amigão Jeff, ó. Parabéns pela live, Mário. Estou aqui para prestigiar e apoiar. Valeu, Jeff. Valeu, muito obrigado aí pelo prestígio aí, por estar aqui com a gente. Valeu demais, garoto.
Don't miss your chance to experience the beauty of science in action and maybe catch a ball game.
We are 2 minutes, under 2 minutes actually, away from totality.
Dallas, que é apontado como um dos principais locais dos Estados Unidos, aí a gente está a 1 minuto e 40, menos de 1 minuto e 40, né? E parece que lá não vai nublar também não, a galera lá, precisam lá, estava de ser nublado. Ou seja, não deu sorte, que ele levou a galera para lá, senão ele ia apanhar lá.
Thanks for being here, Nikki.
Ia ter que sair correndo lá do povo, lá se chuva. Fica nublado lá. Agora o pessoal da NASA é doido, né, rapaz? Eles não gostam de eclipse, não, lá, pra ver. Deixa pequenininho pra gente. Bota esse televisão na tela.
You know, we've got these little magnetometers. They're going to be all across. We have 30 of them all the way across. I'm going to hold it up.
Very nice. Love magnetometers.
Magnetometers, and we're gonna be having these all the way across the path of totality. And it sounds.
Ah lá, é legal a gente ver. Então, vamos passar esse tempo a tela chega, agora já está valendo a pena. A galera assistindo, a galera já começa a pirar quando está chegando, né? Olha como que cai ali já a luz lá, dá para vocês sentirem aí. Como que a luz já vai caindo ali, é show de bola demais.
It is getting dark here. The wind's picked up. You could
Muito
actually
massa,
see the birds started flying in a very weird pattern a minute ago. Come on, clouds. Wow. Yes.
O Anderson está perguntando se alguém soltou um balão meteorológico para coletar imagens inusitadas. Oficialmente que eu saiba, não, Anderson. Mas certamente, viu? Certamente. Eles vão fazer imagem, inclusive da ISS. Estamos aí, ó. Estamos aí, ó. Totalidade no Texas. Kerrville. Nossa, você é muito interessante. Demais a conta. Tem um caça, né? Um caça da NASA aí, de pesquisa, né? O Alcântara está perguntando, Mário, você viu o documentário A Terra é Plana no Netflix? Levaram um dos maiores terraplanistas dos Estados Unidos. Eu ficou sem saber explicar quando viu. Não vi não, mas vou procurar ver. Gostei. Gostei, viu, Alcântara? Tamo aí, galera. Ó, tamo aí, ó. Olha, gente, eu vou falar a verdade para vocês. A galera tá muito preocupada aqui agora com o eclipse. Ninguém quer afastar as imagens para a gente poder ver se tem o cometa lá, né? Mas certamente vai surgir. Eu vou trazer para vocês. Se a gente não tiver nenhuma aqui, mais para frente aí, não vamos ver. O cometa está no céu aí nesse momento. Olha que imagem linda, cara. Jeff está falando aí, ó, a expansão está a caminho. Ó, desculpa, Jeff, li expansão. A escuridão está a caminho. Por milênios, a humanidade entrava em pânico total. Quando isso acontecia, sem entender os mistérios da mecânica celestial. De fato, a gente estava comentando isso aqui mais cedo, que os egípcios, inclusive, que adoravam o Sol, né, como Deus máximo deles lá, piravam, né, Jeff? A gente estava exatamente falando essa questão mesmo aí. Olha lá, gente, em Dallas, olha aqui na imagem, aqui no quadradinho de baixo. Aqui. Olha o quanto já virou escuridão, as luzes acendem. Tá vendo que massa isso ali? É muito bacana, cara. O clima do eclipse é um trem de louco. Incrível. Ó, o Cato está falando aqui, tem dezenas de imagens do eclipse, isso mesmo. E um negócio que eu sempre gosto de fazer, galera, é o seguinte: depois do eclipse, eu gosto de pegar um vídeo com todas as principais imagens lá que eu mais gostei e publicar os momentos mais legais e tal, eu acho legal. Então, daqui uns dias a gente vai ter esse vídeo aí para vocês no canal aqui com as principais imagens aí desse eclipse. Muito bacana isso, né? Olha como que está escuro, galera. Olha que show de bola. Muito interessante, né?
As we look for exoplanets in other galaxies that might be able to support life, we need to understand our relationship here on this planet with that star. And so it's so important. And I think when you see it, you're just like, wow, it actually is a star. Yeah. It's not just a bright point of light in the sky. You can see the structure. You can see just how exciting the sun is and actually how dynamic it is.
Yeah. And it's not often in heliophysics that we can actually see the science that we're doing with our own eyes.
That is right.
Vamos prestar atenção para vocês verem na hora que começar a sair, como é que a claridade do dia volta ali, né? Se eles mantiverem a imagem, é legal para a gente poder ver isso. Parece que aí em Kerrville está um pouco nublado agora, né? Dá para aparecer ali, ó, na imagem de cima aqui da direita, né? Um pouco de nuvem ali. Estou na dúvida se de fato está nublado lá. Anderson está falando aqui, mas mais uma vez, obrigado pelo feedback. Sua live está melhor. Pô, valeu, muito obrigado. Eu que agradeço. E agradeço também a paciência, agradeço por acompanhar com a gente aqui. Valeu, garoto. Olha lá, já está começando a clarear, tá vendo? Dá para perceber, galera? Estão vendo ali como é que já vai chegando a claridade agora? Daqui a pouco as nuvens já começam a se apagar ali. As luzes, né? Muito legal, né? Vira noite mesmo, né? De fato.
Yeah, the clouds. You can hear the crowds getting excited. We're hopeful.
Aí. Agora já está saindo, ó, a claridade chegando. Não sei se vocês perceberam ali no contador de tempo, olha só, 3 minutos e 50 do eclipse total, né? Então, olha lá, está saindo já. Tá vendo?
Wow, and we're starting to get some starting to
Que
get the light
númerozinha
back.
vagabunda essa aí que eles usaram, viu? Essa aí tá ruim, viu?
So unfortunately we did
Tá
not
bom,
see the
beleza.
diamond
Então, o
ring
cinegrafista
at the
também,
end
que
of the
não
eclipse
sabe regular
clouds,
isso da
which is always
câmera,
a crowd pleaser, but we
acontece.
did see it.
Olha aí como é que agora já voltou a claridade do dia, tá vendo aqui na
Totality, there was
imagenzinha
suddenly
aqui
this
direita aí?
beautiful bright one light, and then it all went dark. So we did actually see quite a few great features on the
Já
sun, and
voltou o
somebody
dia aí.
actually was saying they could see a sunspot.
Maria Aparecida, momento histórico, de fato,
They
né?
could see a
De fato.
sunspot. So
Todo eclipse eu acho que é histórico, né?
Yes,
Demais.
absolutely. So if you were looking through your glasses, you might have seen a couple of dark spots on the sun. They are actually very intense places. There's very, very intense magnetic field there. They're very active, and that is what can cause
Rosângela
space weather.
Teixeira está
So
falando aqui, os
every
caras
now
são
and again,
melhor, o
those
único que
active
mostrou
regions can sort of
mesmo o
explode,
efeito.
and then
Obrigado.
send
Ai,
billions
valeu.
of tons of
Valeu,
film
Rosângela não, né?
material.
Roseleia
Wow,
Teixeira.
well, this was fantastic.
Valeu,
Thank you
Rosileia.
so much, Nikki. This was
Aí,
incredible
ó,
to experience this with
Dallas.
you. Let's follow this eclipse right up that path. Next up is
Dallas, faltam
We have
2
Joy and Michael
minutos e
standing by
30
for
aí
their big moment in the
para a
sun.
totalidade do eclipse. Olha só que bacana aí.
You can feel the temperature change. The wind has completely quieted down.
Aí, ó, tá falando ali que a gente percebe a temperatura mudando, o vento chegando. Eu falei para vocês que existe um vento próprio do eclipse, né? Existe uma ventania que vem, que todo eclipse traz isso, né?
I am ecstatic. The annular eclipse was really cool. This is, you can feel it, the energy here is electric.
If you look around, you can see that the darkness is coming. Let's have a quick look at what we're looking at right now. We're almost there. We're a couple of minutes away.
Aí, galera, em Dallas aí agora, né? O bom da gente acompanhar na internet é que a gente não vê um eclipse só, a gente vê vários, né? Então, agora em Dallas, Texas, aí faltando 1 minuto e 37, né? Eu quero ver quem vai abrir para a gente ver pra gente poder ver o Cometa, né?
Fantastic. So we are almost like, let's see, a few minutes away. So minute 30 out, I think, actually. So let's have a look at the eclipse. Michael, what should we expect to see moments before totality?
Okay, so as we approach totality, you're going to see that crescent sun slowly drift away, and then you're going to see the Baily's beads, where there are these bright points of light that are last bits of sunlight.
Não sei se vocês estão percebendo onde eles estão ali falando aqui, ó, na imagem da esquerda, já começa bem a escurecer ali, ó. Já vai levando bem ali a escuridão, né?
A thumbnail of sun left. We are closing in on totality here.
Wow, we see a slither of the sun left. Remember, you can only take your safety
Olha que
glasses
show, hein?
off when the moon
30
has
segundos aí,
completely
ó.
covered the sun, and in Dallas,
30
Texas,
segundos pro
we are
eclipse
seconds
total
away.
em Dallas,
Oh my goodness,
Texas.
I can feel my heart racing. You can hear the crowd getting excited. The birds are chirping, and they seem like they're going into their nighttime routines.
Wow. So we are a few seconds away.
Matheus tá falando aí, abre a tela. Eu tô falando, Matheus, né? O povo é teimoso, viu?
Absolutely ecstatic.
The darkness is coming over Dallas.
Here we are. Just a few seconds
10
left.
seconds.
Vamos lá.
Oh, I'm so
2
excited.
segundos. 1 segundo.
Okay, we are 5 seconds away from
Ó,
totality.
foi.
One little bit. It's totally
Nós
dark
já estamos aí,
here.
ó.
Deep twilight around here.
Wow. You can hear the
Here's
crowd.
the last bit of lights, and we're in totality.
Olha só, galera.
Oh my God. That is absolutely great.
Cara, muito chique, viu? Lindo demais,
Oh my
né?
God, Michael. How are you feeling right now?
Agora o cinegrafista aí tá bacalhando a brincadeira, hein?
There's a few high clouds, but the beauty of the corona is clearly visible. You can see that spiky structure just poking out. It
Ih,
is
rapaz, o cara perdeu.
Oh my goodness, I have tears in my eyes. I was not expecting this.
This is one of those experiences that you just never forget. I feel so special to be right here, right now, experiencing it.
O cara perdeu o sol no telescópio ali, foi foda,
Literally
viu?
across the nation are doing the same thing. It's truly amazing.
Olha lá que bacana.
Let's take a moment to take it all in. This is absolutely breathtaking.
Agora ele conseguiu pegar de novo.
You can can see that spiky structure of the corona. That's indicative of our approach to solar maximum. That asymmetrical nature of the corona happens when we're in solar maximum, and that's going to be happening in about a few months from now. So that means that this view of the corona will never happen again, ever. This is a completely unique view that even if you see a million solar eclipses, you'll never quite see one like this.
So, Michael, you study the sun. What is it like to see the corona that you don't normally see?
I mean, I just, there are no words. I spent my life studying this thing, and to be able to see it and feel it is, I mean, it's just tremendous. You can see a prominence in the chromosphere, the middle atmosphere of the sun is that
Olha
pink
que
spot.
bacana, hein? Que show,
And
hein?
that pink loop is what I spent 5 years doing a dissertation.
Elisângela
That
Zancanaro
one
tá
little
falando
pink
aí,
loop. And
sensacional, né?
it's just, it makes
De
it all
fato.
feel like it's in
Matheus,
perspective.
valeu,
I
valeu.
can't believe how clearly
E
I can
como
see
valeu.
those pink loops.
Cara,
That's the
é
corona.
We
encantador.
can see a few
E
planets
o
out
que eu
as
tô achando
well.
muito legal que a NASA está
They're
tendo essa
brightly shining in the
sensibilidade
sky. And actually there's a
de mostrar
plane
para a
racing
gente
across
aqui
the
essa
shadow as we
imagem aqui,
speak as
ó.
well.
Aí, olha
And I just
lá,
want to take a moment to say
a
huge
imagem da
thanks to
direita
our
aí
telescope
agora. Quem
operator,
sabe
Vanessa
aparece.
Thomas, for
Mas
providing
aí
these
o
views.
cinegrafista tem que mexer na
This
câmera
is
ali para a gente
just
poder ver mais coisas do céu.
People are
Olha,
applauding here,
olha,
as you
olha.
can hear. I mean, I think
Que show,
everyone
hein?
here is getting exactly what they came
Essa
for, which
imagem
is
da
just
esquerda aqui, ó,
that sense of your place in the
que
universe.
eles
This
estão
is
aparecendo aqui agora,
this is our closest
parece
star.
que é
Being able to see the star
só o
like
zoom
this
da câmera,
is
né?
truly
Então
special.
você vê a coroa mais proeminente, né?
Okay, we have one
Essa imagem da
minute left.
direita aqui, vocês perceberam que o cara tinha perdido a
Time just
imagem ali
passes way too
e
quickly.
depois buscou, então
The
é um
next eclipse won't
telescópio,
happen
tá?
across the US for another 20 years, so this
Aí a gente vê a
really is a
diferença do
once in a
brilho
lifetime
nas duas
opportunity for a
imagens,
lot of
né?
people.
Absolutely. Our friends up in Alaska will see their next eclipse in 2033. So I am like already thinking I need to go there. I mean, it's just
Yes, definitely.
it doesn't matter what I need to do. I just have to go there.
Wow. So we're 30 seconds out.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
right before totality ends, our telescope operator,
Muito
Vanessa, is
massa,
going
né?
to put the solar
Bacana
filter
demais,
back
viu,
on.
galera?
But let's just cherish these last few moments of totality in Dallas, Texas. Michael, what will happen right before totality ends?
So as totality is ending, we'll go through the process in reverse. You'll see maybe a diamond ring, a few Bailey speeds as the sun creeps out of totality. And then we're going to go back into a crescent sun again. Okay, and there's a diamond ring again. So
Okay.
time to put your glasses back on. And that
Sunglasses
is
back
it.
on. Sorry, eclipse glasses back on.
And it's coming back
Wow.
again.
Wow, the slither of the sun
And you can
has
see
come
shadow
back.
bands on the ground right now. It looks like it's almost raining, or you can see those shadow bands racing across the ground as we come back in out of totality.
Wow. Whew. Oh my goodness, Michael, that was amazing. I was not expecting to feel so emotional. I still have tears in my eyes.
I mean, it just grabs you. I mean, it is unlike anything else. It's as amazing as seeing anything in the natural universe. Yeah, like I said, there are no words.
Michael, thank you so much for being with us in this very, very, very special moment.
I feel honored to be here. We truly are in a special place in the entire universe right here. And I'm just so happy to share it with you.
So now let's head back to James at NASA's Kennedy Space Center, who's with the eclipse moon. He's tracking the shadow moving across the US. James, how are things looking on your end?
Yeah, wow, Joy and Michael, really cool view there. It's insane to see just how dark it gets. It's literally like nighttime there. You can hear the birds chirping in that shot as well, and the gardens, absolutely beautiful. We got a bunch coming up in just a few moments here. Our next eclipse path target here for the NASA broadcast is in Russellville, Arkansas. They're going to have a long window too, 4 minutes and 12 seconds. They're expecting that totality kickoff at 1:50:05 to be exact. Again, you can continue to track this with our eclipse tool here. This is at go.nasa.gov/eclipse explorer. And you can see just how quickly it's moving. I'm playing this in real time. You can see that shadow. It's already moving very quickly to the northeast. And the fun isn't just for our friends on the path of totality, and there are a lot of people on that path of totality. About 31 million people reside somewhere on that path of totality. But there's a lot of people obviously outside of that path as well too. If I put on this overlay here for the percent coverage, a lot of folks, us included here in Florida, are experiencing that partial eclipse. As always, if you are in a partial eclipse, be sure to be wearing those eclipse glasses to protect your eyesight as you're viewing it. But you can see these bands
Matheus Nunes está falando aqui, ó, que ele viu em 94, foi lindo, não dá para explicar aquele momento. Abraço, parabéns. Valeu, Matheus, realmente, é show demais, viu?
89.4%. Looks like you got good cloud cover there. 20% cloud cover, so hopefully you got a nice view up there as well too. I've also put on this overlay here to show you just the amount of the duration of totality. You see, a lot of our places are within this middle band right here that are
Agora mais uma cidade aí, né? Roosevelt. Roosevelt agora também chegando aí a menos de 2 minutos aí para a totalidade. E é bacana, né? A gente poder ver a totalidade em todos os locais, é muito show, né? Muito legal isso aí. Dinâmica bacana demais, né?
Path of totality or even outside of that path of totality. So a lot coming up very soon. Again, our friends in Russellville look like they have great coverage there as well too. Only 9% cloud cover, so hopefully they're getting a really nice view. But let's check in with Jasmine up there to see. Hopefully you're looking good for there. How's it looking up in your way up in Russellville?
Everything is looking absolutely fabulous here in Russellville. We could not have asked for better weather. So we are back here in the downtown depot area, and joining us now is heliophysics expert Dr. Patrick Kane, all the way from DC. How are you feeling about your very first total solar eclipse?
I'm incredibly excited. As I'm watching
Anderson Alex dos Santos Lima, boa tarde, pessoal. Boa tarde, Anderson. Seja aí muito bem-vindo.
So it was all academic before. This is no longer academic.
Yeah, so the feeling is very different than what we might read in a textbook. Patrick, just explain, describe the atmosphere around us as it's changing.
Right now, as I'm looking around, of course, the temperature has been falling for the last 20 or 30
minutes.
The light is dimming, and it's dimming faster and faster. It seems like it's accelerating. The crowd is definitely getting excited. I'm looking around the ground to see if I see the shadow snakes. I don't, but this is just really exciting.
It really is. Honestly, like you said, we're feeling that cooler weather.
Yeah.
The crowd behind us just erupted. We're also feeling them fall a little bit quieter too.
Já deixaram o like aí, gente? Vamos lá, senta o dedão no like aí, não fica com dó não. Tá? Quem está assistindo aqui com a gente, está acompanhando e ainda não é inscrito, inscreve aí, dá essa força pro canal aí. Ah, Neto, por que você fala dar força? É porque quando você comenta, quando você compartilha o vídeo, quando você dá like, quando você inscreve, o YouTube entende que o canal é de relevância, entrega para mais pessoas, né? Olha lá, ó. Vamos chegar aí a 10 segundos aí para a totalidade em Roosevelt. Que show, hein?
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Ei, galera.
Here we are.
Dá para cansar de ver isso? Não dá, né? Não tem como, né?
And the crowd goes wild. Oh my! Wow!
De novo.
Absolutely stunning.
Aí, ó, olha aí, as pedras de Bailey aí, as pérolas de Bailey, né? Essas parecências de bolinhas aí em volta aí, ó. Pérolas de Bailey. Isso aqui é um alvo de estudo muito importante, viu?
That diamond ring effect is due to the moon not being perfectly smooth. It's got mountains, it's got valleys. So just like here on Earth, when we see a sunrise or a sunset through a valley, we just watched a sunset through a valley on the moon.
Nossa, olha que beleza, hein? E tá vendo do lado direito aqui, ó, na imagem esquerda aqui, ó, à direita ali, ó. Aquilo ali me parece que é Vênus, viu, galera? Aí falando agora. Vênus, está mostrando Júpiter. E acima do Sol ali estaria o 12 de Poons Brooks. Tá? Então, olha que bacana. A primeira imagem que a gente consegue ver o Sol ali, o céu legal, Vênus. Não é muito show, hein? Quem sabe, hein? Eu estou invertendo a imagem para a gente ver, hein? O 12P vai estar logo acima do Sol, ali, um pouquinho à esquerda dele. Que massa, hein? Conseguiram ver Vênus aí, galera? Que bacana, viu?
There's even just a hint of a diamond ring down at the
O cara pirou lá, o cara aparecendo neve.
Diamond ring from Arkansas, the Diamond State. Now, Patrick, of course, as we've been talking about it, this is part of what
Gostei desse caboclo que filmou aí, viu? Que tá fazendo essa imagem da esquerda aqui, ó. Isso aí, ó, bacana. Vamos ver se ele acha o cometa ali.
Started out in October of last year with the annular eclipse.
Durou pouco, mas foi legal, imagem bacana aí, gostei de ver essa imagem aí. O que vocês acharam? Show demais, né?
Of 2024, when Parker Solar Probe passes as close as it's ever going to get to the surface of the sun within 9 solar radii.
Oh, wow. And I'm sure that means a lot to you because you worked on Parker Solar Probe about 20 years ago during its inception. So tell us a little bit more about that.
I worked on a concept study for Parker Solar Probe back when I was a graduate student in around 2002 or so. And back then, the idea was for it to actually dive into the sun rather than orbit the sun. So it was going to be a sun dive.
Wow, that is fabulous. This must be a very full circle moment for you, right, Patrick?
This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. And that diamond ring has been Wait a minute. That's pink. What we are actually seeing is down into the chromosphere now of the sun. We're seeing a little bit deeper than the corona. I believe it's because of the pinkish color. We're looking down into the chromosphere, which is the next layer of the atmosphere of the sun down.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Caramba, viu?
We have ever seen
Linda
here in
imagem, né,
Arkansas,
galera?
like nothing we will see for the next 2 decades, right,
Linda
Patrick?
demais, viu? Muito bacana.
21 years
Rodeu.
before we see it again here.
Aproveitar aqui e mandar um beijo para minha esposa, Rose, que está acompanhando. Viu? Grande beijo para você, meu amor. Minha esposa Rose, meu filho Davi e minha filha Júlia. Na verdade, o Davi está na escola agora, né? Não está podendo ver, não. Mas hoje, amor da minha vida, está assistindo. Tá? Ela é tímida, viu? Por isso que ela não entra no chat. Beijo, meu bem.
As far as they're concerned, it's time to feed. So they're coming out.
Anderson Alex dos Santos Lima, manda um abraço aos meus irmãos, Fernanda e David. Então é isso aí, Fernanda e David. Grande abraço aí. Abraços do Nerd aos 50 aí para vocês, né?
Seen from right
Viu
here
aí?
in Arkansas, the Diamond State. Absolutely stunning.
Outstanding.
Beautiful.
Esse momento da saída ali que eles estão falando, né? Vem não, Cristian, vem não. Meu Deus, isso aí pra gente, não tem vida nenhuma dele. Esse momento da entrada e da saída que eles chamam de anel de diamante, porque quando passa ali, vaza um pouco de luz a mais, né? O mundo nunca será o mesmo. Ô, Cristian, eu vou falar a verdade com você, querido. O mundo nunca é o mesmo de um minuto atrás, querido. Então, realmente é isso.
Carbondale is one of those very lucky cities because back in 2017, they were right at that intersection point of the 2017 eclipse across America. They're there again this year, but the difference is they're going to have a much longer slot. In 2017, they only had 2 minutes, 40 seconds, and that's not as much as they're going to have this year, which is 4 minutes and 10 seconds in the totally eclipsed sun. A really great viewing window for them to really take in this big moment. Very exciting to be able to track that for them as well. And also some details about this tool here as well. If I click onto their eclipse time here of 1:59:15 local time, you notice this little icon comes up here. This is actually simulated based off real data from the Parker Solar Probe of what we expect the corona around the sun to look like. And as you just heard, the sun's a lot more active this time around. It's kind of like a wild hairball, if you will. Lots of different streamers and things streaking off the sun. So you've been seeing already in our coverage some really cool activity around that sun's corona. If you're really lucky and the timing is just right, you might get a coronal mass ejection streaking off the sun. Hoping that someone on our path gets to see that today. If you do, be sure to send us the photos. We'd love to see that as well. One other cool feature about this tool too is you can see the actual path that the moon is going to be taking across the sun. And all of this plays in real time if you time it up well. And so you can actually see, if I go to our live moment here, this is actually playing as what we're expecting in real time, the movement of the moon across the sun. Carbondale just had a little crescent there, and you can see that shadow is really closing in on them very quickly. Let me turn off the 2017 path and zoom in a bit here. You see there, nearing totality in just a few moments, and their weather is looking great. We've been checking in with them all morning and afternoon. 27% cloud cover. That time of totality is
E
coming up
estamos
at
aí, né? Seguindo a faixa aí de sombra do eclipse aí, ele tá rodando aí para mais cidades aí. Agora, Carbondale. Carbondale, daqui 2 minutos também o eclipse será total, hein? Show demais. JGM, seja bem-vindo, querido. Tem uma imagem do sol aí de Carbondale. É, já tá escuro lá, hein? Pô, já tá escuro, hein? Nossa, menos de 2 minutos, né? Olha que massa, cara. Aqui a gente tá num campo de Super Bowl, ó. Olha que bacana, cara.
I'm afraid to look up. I know it's not quite ready yet, but tell us, what do you expect here for the eclipse today?
Legal demais, hein?
It's good weather right now. We have high clouds, so totality is going to look just a little bit fuzzy to us, a little bit hazy, but we are moments away from seeing the diamond ring here. This is awesome. Oh, I thought we saw it. I think we got about 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute away. Now,
olha só que bacana, cara.
Totality. So are you feeling the temperature change? Because I'm already feeling the temperature drop. I felt the temperature dropping about 20 minutes ago even, and the wind picking up a little bit. And I think, we have 4 minutes and 9 seconds here. So
50 segundos.
It'll continue to get cooler, and we got a lot to look at in the sky. I'm very excited. I'm looking up when I can. Oh, it's so close. It's getting very dark right now. Very dark. You can see the shadow going across. This is the start of it. It's dark over here. It's light over there. This is amazing. Crowds are going nuts. We're about to get word that we're at totality. Oh, you can see the planets. The crowds are going nuts. This is crazy. Bob, this is amazing. Here we go. Don't look at the sun yet. It's not quite totality, but you can still see some of the planets right away. Very close. You got about 50.
Então, o cara que tá narrando ali, ele tá louco porque já tá vendo os planetas no céu, né? É de endoidar mesmo, a gente fica louco. Olha, o cara ficou louco, velho. Tá da NASA ali. Olha só, rapaz. Que imagem, hein? O cinegrafista aí é bom. Esse é bom.
Jupiter. Complete totality. I see Jupiter. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous.
Eles estão vendo Júpiter lá.
Wow, that is huge. So we have some prominences. I think we want to go look through the scope. Go through, look through the scope. I'm going to walk over with you as you talk through the scope. We are right here at one of the telescopes that we have positioned here. Bob
O Alcântara está perguntando se já foi para o mar. Não foi não, Alcântara. Está no meio ali dos Estados Unidos, mais ou menos. Está longe ainda.
What's amazing is how dark it is compared to 2017. Much darker, a lot more astronomical features. We have seen Jupiter, and I believe what planet?
O cara tá louco com Júpiter, ele tá conseguindo ver Júpiter ali. E engraçado que vento do lado, que é mais brilhante, ele nem tá aí.
This is amazing. It's going to get darker.
Mas é louco demais mesmo.
This is already pretty dark. We're not in the middle of the shadow quite yet. Wow.
Engraçado que ninguém fala do cometa.
Okay. All right, so we're getting some live data from the
O
team
Alcântara está falando aqui que a NASA colocou um monte de câmeras no rastro do cometa. Ah, não, do eclipse. Sim, sim. Tem câmera em todas as... Eles escolheram cidades na faixa de totalidade em todos os locais. Isso que é legal, né? Que aí a gente tem a possibilidade de fazer essa live aí, passando por várias cidades, né? Muito bacana, né?
This is not just capturing image to share with people watching the show. You are actually capturing scientific data that can be used by scientists everywhere. We are, and we've seen totality across North America so far in Mazatlan. Now we're experiencing it ourselves, and we'll experience it after this on the Jumbotron from the other dev sites. It's like the most amazing eclipse train you could ever ride on. Wow. This is a bit better than 2017. Without a doubt, without a doubt. No cloud. And you know what's interesting is the crowd is quieting down. They seem to be experiencing the moment, taking it all in. A really special moment here.
look at, so we must be getting close to the center. Where are we at? 2 minutes? So 1 minute, 30 seconds. The corona's looking brighter because our eyes are adjusting now.
I mean, that is amazing, Bob. And how much corona you see. I mean, like, just last time I
Aí,
didn't see
como é
that
que tá
much.
escuro lá, pessoal, agora, aqui na imagem da esquerda.
Oh, yeah,
Show,
we
hein?
talked about the animals. Now we see them becoming active.
Show
We
demais,
found,
viu?
a luna moth earlier.
Muito bacana aí.
But that corona is about 4 times the diameter of the sun. That is massive.
That is amazing, Bob. And I'm really curious
1
about
minute?
that prominence at the bottom.
Have you looked yet, Blair? You have to look. So take a look.
Ah, tá. O Alcântara está falando aqui da câmera do NASA Space Flight. Ela apareceu aqui no momento aqui, acho que uma das primeiras aí.
A coronal mass ejection, but don't fact check me on that because I'm just a novice. But there's actually 2 on the map. You gotta look
Renato
at that. There's 2.
Libardoni, Ciência versus Religião. Galileu na fogueira, a igreja perdeu o poder, Luneta desvendou os mistérios. De fato, isso aí, garoto.
It's great because we have
Senhor Rodrigo, se prepara, Jesus está voltando. Nibiru. É, Marcelo, eu
I don't know what you guys are
vou
seeing
falar com
on
você,
the
viu, garoto?
television,
Acho que você está no lugar errado.
all right,
Viu?
here we go. 10 seconds before we need to put our glasses back on. Okay. Oh, sorry. You're good.
You're good.
Olha só, não sei se vocês perceberam, nesse local aí de Carbondale aí, a gente está com a duração já maior. Sacaram isso? Aí, ó. Aí, ó. Aí, ó. Olha o que eles chamam de anel de diamante. Vira ali o que é o anel de diamante? É aquele momento da saída ali. Então você tem 2 anéis de diamante. Um na entrada e outro na saída, né? Pô, tá louco. Pô, tá louco. Chique demais, né? De Anápolis agora.
Oh my gosh. With Bob Bear and 10,000 fans, all loving every moment of it. Bob, some final words.
Well, I think we just had an eagle fly over.
Okay, so, but
Ah,
incredible.
tá. O Alcântara está falando aqui que a câmera da NASA Space Flight fez a melhor imagem. Então, dá uma olhada depois, que até as línguas de plasma aparecem. É bacana, Alcântara. Valeu aí o toque. Eu, igual falei, quero fazer uma... Quero fazer aí no vídeo, mostrando aí todas as imagens principais aí. E aí a gente vai fazer isso.
Thank you, Blair. We are in Indianapolis. We are almost at
Aí,
totality.
ó,
With me, I
no
have
circuito oval de Indianápolis aí, da Palma Índia. Olha que show.
Denise Hill, NASA's Outreach and Communications Lead for the
Isaac
NASA
Rian
Heliophysics
oficial.
Division. You guys,
Aí
let's
no
get our glasses
Brasil
on.
nada. Não, Isaac, no Brasil mesmo nada, né? É só no norte,
As everyone gets on their
só lá no
glasses,
hemisfério
we are
norte. Vamos.
so close. Ladies, what are we seeing right now?
I mean, just the ambiance of this moment. It is beautiful. We're just seeing a really small crescent, but the light all around us, it's so dusky.
And I'm
just odd.
It is. I'm feeling a temperature drop already, which I can't believe. It's feeling cooler. The crowd is starting to go wild. We're still seeing
É, porque eu tô falando aqui, logo Elon Musk. Beleza.
We are so
All right, and
close.
the best soundtrack you could possibly ask for in the background here.
Olha só.
Oh, we're
Já
so
não, 20
close.
segundos. Já que a gente vai ter aí o anel de diamante aí, tá aí, ó. Falou dele, tá lá, ó. O primeiro anel de diamante aí, em Indianápolis. E vamos aí pra totalidade, hein?
Almost. We are
Show, hein?
close. And we.
Oh my gosh, there's that bright diamond ring here. All right. Oh,
Massa, hein? Eita.
yes. Oh my gosh. I can actually visualize the corona.
Bonito isso aí, hein?
I wanted to see that.
Wow. Look at that. Fantastic.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely incredible.
Paulo César, show. Valeu.
Wow. Look at how dark it is. Oh my gosh.
And you can really see those streamers coming out right now. I'm seeing some bright lights around where we're seeing cratering, and I can see those streamers coming out of the corona.
And are those Bailey's beads? Are we
É,
seeing
o
any?
Alcântara tá falando aí,
We
ó.
were seeing some
Antigamente o cara iria ser queimado e na hora que o sacerdote fala, última chance para os deuses te livrarem, aí vem a eclipse.
and look at those streamers of the
Opa.
corona.
Ah, não, ali é a galera.
And it
A
is
galera ali com o
dark.
celular na mão.
It is dark.
Olha que
I gotta
show.
take a peek at the crowd right now.
Oh, look at the crowd.
Oh
The
my
crowd is
gosh.
absolutely going
Lembrando que
wild.
aqui a gente está no
Everyone's got their phone
Indianápolis,
out.
né?
It is now safe to look at the eclipse
Tem
without
imagem
your
no estádio
glasses.
do Super
What
Bowl
an
e também
amazing sight.
imagem
Folks,
no,
we've got 4
no
minutes
circuito
here, a
da
little
Fórmula
under 4
Indy, né?
minutes to enjoy this. And if you were in an
Eles
open
entram
field right now, you'd be able to
desencanado,
see
tô
a
falando,
sunset, a
perfeito, perfeito.
360-degree sunset all
Realmente.
around us.
Yes,
You
I
can see a little bit of
You
that
can
now.
see the light around us a little bit. I have to say, this is my first total eclipse, Denise.
This is my first total
Incredible to see it.
totality.
Wow.
This is a bucket list moment for me.
This is incredible. Really a once in a lifetime, unless you're an eclipse chaser, which I'm considering it.
I might
I'm
become one after
considering
this.
Olha só como é que vira a noite mesmo, né, galera? Olha só que incrível, né?
Wow, fantastic.
É muito
Oh
massa
my
mesmo.
gosh, so
Muito
long
bacana.
trying to see that corona and to see it with my eyes.
Your
O
own
Edson está
eyes.
falando aqui, Elon Musk vai colocar
gorgeous.
STF no
I'm just
SpaceX.
in awe of like being this
Yeah,
person
yeah,
on this
beautiful
rock
song.
moving around the sun.
Yes.
I can't even believe it right now.
Yeah, and to share this moment together with 50, 60,000 people all looking up at the moon and the sun all at once. It's just an incredible experience for all the folks here in Indy and for all the folks watching. I hope you can take, the amazing energy and excitement from this crowd. What a special moment for the United States.
Oh my gosh, did you hear that? Look at this and everybody.
Oh, there we
my
go,
goodness.
the crowds.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so I think we're seeing, those beautiful
The
prominences.
corona is just putting on such a show right now. It's got my
Yes.
full attention.
Wow.
That's all I can watch.
Holy cow. We've got some very appropriate music on going on in the background here.
Yes. This is the best version of getting mooned that I have ever experienced in my life.
Don't strain your eyes.
O Canta está falando aqui, ó, América Central só viu uma listinha com filtro. Provavelmente, né?
I'm just noticing it feels so strange to me right now. Like I feel the hair on my arm standing up. I feel like it's nighttime and what am I doing? And it was daytime.
And actually, folks, we're starting to get some nighttime insects coming out.
Yes, we're starting to see bugs.
Yeah, we are seeing bugs in light. It's hard to hear them over the crowd, but I can definitely see them flying.
Yes, I think the animals are a little bit confused. Nikki, while I have you, we've got a lot of programs at NASA looking at the sun. No eclipse glasses required. As the Associate Director of Flight Programs, tell me, what can we expect NASA to be sending to the sun in the next few years?
We are so lucky in the midst of this incredible time of Solar Max. We're getting ready to...
I'm
seeing a diamond ring right now.
The diamond ring. Take a look. Take a look.
Aí, ó, vamos lá, ó.
Put your glasses
Outra
back
anel
on,
diamante.
be safe.
Show.
That is the diamond ring.
A saída, né?
Wow, spectacular. Oh my gosh. You can even hear fireworks in the distance.
É incrível,
oh my
né?
gosh. And the light is already starting to change.
It really is.
You can
Wow.
And the crowds are loving
I
it.
hear the crowd just
Oh
loving
my
every second of
gosh.
it.
Oh, what a moment. I love those fireworks. Indianapolis is really pulling out all of the stops, and we love them for it. I also want to take a moment here to thank our 2 telescope operators, John and Dana, who have been providing these telescope views for us there from Ball State University. Thank you very much to John and Dana. All right.
It's like somebody flipped the lights back on.
It's
All of a sudden, switch flips.
Vamos ver qual que serão as próximas aí agora, hein?
Wow.
Anápolis foi também.
Incredible. Well,
né?
this is an incredible moment and an incredible moment for the
Cleveland,
Helio
Ohio.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. This has been fantastic.
Pouco mais de 2 minutos aí.
And sharing
I'm
this
so excited to be here and to see this incredible sight.
Absolutely. Megan and Sarah, back to you.
Oh, that was so fun to experience, and I can't wait for us to do it now. Take a look at this drone shot where you can see it definitely got noticeably darker. We feel it here. It's colder. The crowd is cheering now. They're ready for totality here in Cleveland, Ohio. We are about
A galera lá em Cleveland,
we are
ó.
less than 3 minutes away.
A
2
galera tá
minutes
animadaça, hein?
18 seconds away from totality
Show,
here
hein?
in Cleveland, Ohio. The crowd over here to our right
Really
going
feel the
crazy,
excitement.
feeling the excitement. I'm ready for this. How are Mario?
Yeah, it's super cool. It's all of a sudden it's
E
really getting
2
dark and you're
minutos, hein?
starting to feel it.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's like they just dimmed it out. Now it's like night. This happened within the last like couple of seconds. But let's take a look around because obviously we're not the only ones enjoying the total solar eclipse today. We have some we have some eclipse viewing events that we've seen around the country. So why don't we take a look at some of those? Wow. Oh my gosh. So this is
cool.
Times Square. That's the NASDAQ Tower. And they are taking our feed live right now. And we're seeing
Aí, ó, a galera em
Cleveland,
Times Square
Ohio
também.
sun.
They're only going to get a partial eclipse
Massa,
today,
hein?
but they get to watch our eclipse with us.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they can do that. Wow,
Vai
look, that
andando lá
sliver
também,
of
ó.
a crescent just left. It's actually perfect on that building, the shape of that building, right? And we can see some people in the foreground taking a look, stopping to watch. It's hard to stop in Times Square, right? But they're stopping to take a look at this with us.
Ó, Cleveland tá aí, ó. Beirando 1 minuto, hein?
Oh, awesome. So this is just next to us. This is Progressive Field here in Cleveland, Ohio. So the Guardians have their opening day today, and the first pitch is like after 5 o'clock. But as you can see, they've
Aí
opened
é
up the stadium,
estádio
and
de
people are there
beisebol,
to
né?
enjoy it.
Progressive Field.
That's great.
Yeah, you can. Oh my gosh, it just got darker here. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. And then Mentor Civic Amphitheater again. The field starting to fill, and everybody
No
looking up
anfiteatro
to
aí,
the sky
Mentor
for
Civic
their
também em
opportunity
Cleveland.
to see today's
Galera,
solar
foi
eclipse.
todo mundo pra rua mesmo.
This is us back here
30
in
segundos,
Cleveland.
hein,
Everybody
galera?
looking up at the sky. We have 30 seconds. 30 seconds until totality here in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh my God, I have goosebumps everywhere. Everybody's starting to cheer. I might cry. I kind of feel like crying. This is so cool to see. It's getting so dark so fast.
Wow, it's like night just descended on us.
And look at the crescent slowly disappearing. Crowds cheering here.
Yeah.
Cell phones up, cameras up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tá vendo? A janela diamante, ó.
Totality, everyone.
E foi. Galera, vai à loucura, né? Muito show, né? Muito bacana isso. Lindíssimo.
I know, I wasn't sure because we had some high clouds.
Eu acho legal a gente ver aí, é isso que eu falo com vocês, aí, a reação das pessoas que estão assistindo ali, o quanto empolga, né?
Very cloudy here in the last hour and a half, but we have a great view here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
Wow, look at the corona.
And hear the crowd. Wow, everybody's got their phones out.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. You know, I saw pictures of what the shape of the corona might look like from our NASA scientists, and it looks exactly like they predicted.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and you can see Jupiter and Venus.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So Jupiter's to the upper left of the eclipse that we're watching, and just to the right of it is Venus.
Aí, ó, o pessoal já está falando aí, ó. Eles estão vendo Júpiter e Vênus, né? Engraçado que parece que tem um.
But just at the top where we are.
360 sunsets.
Exactly, exactly. Yes,
yeah.
Indianapolis had described that as well. We have totality here for 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
That is such a luxurious amount of time. I saw the 2017. I think we
Legal,
only had
essa
about 2
imagem
minutes.
mostrando a
Why is
cidade.
that?
Ó.
Why does the length of totality differ?
Oh yeah, well, because sometimes the moon is a little closer, a little further away. Its orbit's elliptical, and so when it's further away, it looks smaller in the sky.
Show the
When
ball,
it's
hein?
closer, it looks bigger, and so we get a little bit more extra time.
Look at the prominence. You can see it on the bottom. On the bottom there.
So pretty. It's
Wow.
like bright pink.
That is insane that you can see it from there. From here.
Yes.
Just like the power of our sun. I'm truly in awe right now. And cold. I'm in awe and cold.
It did drop. It's
It is
dropped
noticeably
probably 10
colder.
degrees. It's like, yes.
Yes. Looking around to the crowd. A lot of people videotaping it, trying to take photos.
It's the lovely backdrop of the Cleveland skyline.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We have the stadium right next to us. Oh my gosh. And again, thanking the Great Lakes Science Center and NASA for hosting this event here in downtown Cleveland, Ohio.
Interessante mais eles mostrarem a cidade aí durante a totalidade do eclipse, né? Muito bacana isso, né?
Right now, here's a shot of the skyline. Wow, the sky looks on fire.
Olha ali, ó. É um entardecer, né? Entardecer mesmo, né?
a lot of excitement still here
Bacana
in the
demais.
crowd. Sarah's just taking it all in. Sarah, you're supposed to be commentating. You're supposed to be saying
it's so beautiful.
So you can tell that we have some cloud cover, right? It's kind of hazy here, but still.
It is, yeah, some high clouds. I was worried about it, but like we can still really see it, have a pretty good view here.
Wow. And again, this is so rare for people here in Cleveland to see a total solar eclipse. The last time was 1806. The next time, guys, 2444. That is incredible.
I hope everybody took the time to come outside and witness this today.
Oh my gosh. You can still see that prominence. Again, talk to us about what a
so
prominence
beautiful.
is.
Yeah, so that pink color comes from the helium in the sort of outer atmosphere of the sun there. Oh, it's beautiful.
And it gives off that pink glow.
Yeah.
Wow. Totality ending here. Wow, there's the diamond ring. Oh!
Time to get your glasses back out.
Time to put your glasses back on, everyone. That's your cue. Glasses back on.
We get that diamond ring.
Wow.
Beautiful.
What an amazing experience. My first total solar eclipse.
Yes.
Let's see what they think about this in Niagara with Daryl Nail.
Ah, vamos ver a galera aí da catarata do Niágara aí, hein? E o céu lá tava nubladão, hein? Olha lá, o cara tá até sem voz. Caiu no nascimento, caramba. É isso aí, garoto, caramba.
It has been seen, but we are under pretty cloudy conditions, and David Genie is with us. He's a
Tá um pouco nublado lá ainda, hein?
division. David, this is a challenging situation to be in order to try to see this eclipse. We've seen glimpses.
We have seen glimpses, so we're basically spending our
É,
time
parece que
staring at
tá
the sky,
tudo
hoping for a little bit of a glimpse of what would be a totality. So right now, the sky has just completely gone dark. You see all the lights, basically, everybody's cameras and everything else are all making it lighter. And it's gotten significantly colder as well, just over the last several minutes.
Olha lá, faltam 30 segundos e não tem imagem do céu, parece que lá tá nubladão mesmo. Só escurece, né? Uma pena, né, para quem tá lá, né? Não conseguir ter uma chance, né? Seria uma chance única, quase. Não vai conseguir ver, uma pena.
Has not been able to get that telescope feed dialed in because she has to have a view of the sun in order to see it. So we don't have a feed for you from Niagara. What we have is just every once in a while you'll hear part of the crowd, only part of the crowd will cheer because I guess they kind of have an angle through the clouds to see just a little bit.
Yeah, and the clouds are really only cleared out enough occasionally to even need eclipse glasses. So for the most part, you have a thick enough layer of clouds that you can see the eclipse without them, and it's just fine. So a lot of us have been able to just take regular pictures with our cameras.
Let's take a look and just kind of enjoy the moment of darkness that we're in now. People have come from all over the world to be
now you can see some. It looks like it's a little bit lighter up there. Our spotlights are blinding these guys. Can you turn the spotlights down?
A galera vibra, né? Zoa lá do mesmo jeito, né? Não tem como. Mas realmente parece que o céu deles lá não ajudou, não. Viu? Falei, na hora que eu bati o olhar lá, olha, o céu tá todo nublado. Não tem eclipse, não. Infelizmente, que pena. Que pena.
That's what we get. We're just hoping to have a little bit of a glimpse.
Well, we've got 3 minutes and 29 seconds for it to happen. We're already a minute or so in.
Right.
We heard there's going to be skydivers that are going to jump out. Probably hard to see them.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever get to see the skydivers.
Tupper Lake, New York. Olha que engraçado, hein? Nas cataratas do Niágara, que também é Nova York, não tem céu. Já em Tupper Lake, é próximo ali, né? Parece que aí lá, olha só. Ah, o pessoal lá das cataratas, ó, conseguiu ver o tiquinho, né? Tá bacana, tá valendo, garoto. Tá valendo, ainda passou um avião ali, ó. Foi bom, né? Foi bom, né? Eu acho que valeu aí a expectativa do pessoal ficar de plantão lá, valeu. Foram compensados, né?
So yeah, we're continuing to watch the totality that we're getting right now. You can see a little bit of hint on the side as it's shining through.
Down there, duck down.
Yep.
Jessica,
so here we go. We have another view, a little bit, another little view right here.
No.
As it's starting to peek out around.
Oh, there it is.
So we're going to start to peek out just around right there. Yep.
Well, totality is complete.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was a fun experience to watch and hope for, like just everybody else around here hoping for a view. And we got it.
That was a unique experience. Bring the lights up. And suddenly night is turning into light and day.
Yeah, we're getting some light again. Oh, although that's a lot of light.
I was worried there for a second that we weren't going to get anything. David Cheney, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you sharing this experience. I was really worried that we were going to see something. Fortunately for everybody here in Niagara Falls, we got to see a little bit of the eclipse. And
yes, we did.
That
was great.
Cheering now. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
As we take a look around the falls, and people have not moved. They are still looking up, enjoying the partial eclipse now. We're going to bring in Jeremy Hansen. He is a Canadian Space Agency astronaut.
Que tá as datas do Niágara aí, tá vendo? Como é que tá lá a questão das nuvens lá? Já tá clareando, né? Mas dá para ver o céu ali desde ali, muito nublado, né?
I'm going to be looking over your shoulder here, Daryl.
Hey, make sure you put on your glasses.
We're still pretty safe. We got a lot of cloud cover, but
That's true.
That was actually, I think, exceeded expectations.
Well, I mean, when your expectations start off with just clouds everywhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't think we were going to get anything. How did you feel when it finally poked through?
I felt like success because we all really wanted to see it in totality. And we might have only saw it for 5 seconds, but we did get to see it, and we could see the corona, and that was just very special for me. So I really like that. And then when it passed totality, it was like this amazing. Hopefully the camera captured it, but just like that amazing sunrise just coming across the clouds. Actually, the clouds kind of made a nice backdrop for it. So that was pretty special.
That was very unique, very special. I'm so glad and a little relieved that we got to see a little bit of it. That was the moon passing in front of the sun. You're going around the moon in September of 2025, currently scheduled for that. You'll be the first Canadian.
E ainda tem muito eclipse, viu? Ainda tem muito eclipse, viu, galera? Ainda tem mais aí. Vamos acompanhar a faixa inteira aí, tá? Não sai agora, não. Você não perder nenhum detalhe aí do eclipse solar.
Reed, Christina, Victor, and I are getting ready to undertake. But if I have to boil it down, a lot of it comes down to pride.
Aí, a Pepper Lake, acabamos de ter o anel diamante. Show, hein?
Proud of the United States for their leadership, for creating this opportunity where other countries can express our genius, bring real contributions to the program.
Que legal, Itália e Europa, Isabel Navarro. Valeu, Isabel. Seja bem-vinda.
It has to do with the genius that the world is sharing. I just love that.
That's amazing. Want to mention real quick, we are in full totality up at Tupper Lake, New York. Not far from here in northeastern New York. We're here in western New York where light is continuing to shine and get a little bit brighter. It really is special, and we really felt that in the 4 days that you were here interacting with the public. Was that your sense?
There's a lot of excitement around this celestial event that's happening and around space exploration in general, which I find really uplifting. I don't think space exploration solves all the problems or challenges of the world, but I do believe it is one of the pillars of those solutions. It doesn't matter what problem
you're looking at, também tá bonitão, tá? Bem bacana, hein?
See our youth getting fired up about,
Tá linda a coroa
how do
aí,
I work at
estão
NASA? How do I work at the Canadian
colocando
Space
aí.
Agency? We're on the
E é
US
legal,
side here,
pessoal,
but
falar
I've
para
met some
vocês o
Canadians
seguinte,
who
vocês viram a coroa,
It's just something that brings
algumas
us together. This,
algumas
you know, the
detalhes dela
spirit of
mais
humanity.
amarela,
Just
outras
the
mais
spirit of everyone here is a
esverdeada.
very,
Algumas pessoas colocam filtros, né, para obter os efeitos aí, né?
And sharing
Então é
it
isso aí.
together was really neat. That communal part that you talk about. Like, I felt a little bit of a bond with everybody here now. You as well. Appreciate seeing you and having dinner of the past few nights.
Abraço aí para você também, Isabel. Eu que agradeço aí por acompanhar com a gente aqui. Valeu demais.
We'll be rooting you on for your mission coming up in September of next year. So good luck. Be safe. We'll be rooting you and your crew on. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, we'll take it. I appreciate that. I don't know if you saw it when you're on camera because you were busy.
Legal falar que essa pessoa que está conversando aí com o repórter ali da NASA, é o especialista da missão Artemis 2, né? Ele é canadense, né? E é o especialista da Artemis 2.
Thank you for
Astronauta que vai aí na Artemis 2.
Make sure you put that in there.
Show demais, hein?
All right, thank you, Jeremy. And I just want to say thank you also to New York State Parks, Niagara Falls specifically. We couldn't have done this without you. So thank you very much. We're going to throw it now to Kennedy Space Center, where James Traley is tracking totality at Tupper Lake. James?
That's right, Daryl. Yeah, we are still in totality in Tupper Lake. We are nearing the end of our eclipse across North America. You can see our last target of the day, Holton, Maine, is all the way up here, almost off your screen. This speed of the eclipse shadow is moving so quickly across. The ground speed is about 2,000 miles per hour, so that is a fast clip. If you're in the path of totality, really take full advantage of those few fleeting moments to observe this moment. If you're not in that path of totality, or if you missed it, hopefully you didn't miss it because we've been tracking it all day here, showing you. If you did miss it, I'm going to zoom way out here and show you what to keep an eye out for in the future. So this is going to be the eclipse path in 2045. We're going to come through parts of Montana into North Dakota in 2044. 2045 is the next big eclipse across America. That's actually going to come, oops, I didn't draw here. There we go. That's going to come all the way from California into parts of
O Sol, de vez em quando, ele some no telescópio da galera ali, né? A Terra está girando, né? Então, o telescópio parar tem que... Se o telescópio não tiver acompanhamento, ou às vezes alguém esbarra no telescópio, né? E aí sai, tem que colocar de novo. Por isso, de vez em quando, a gente tem uns momentos de preto ali, sem nenhum detalhe de coroa, de nada, é isso, né? Quando o Sol sai fora ali.
Really a fantastic shot. They have that now, that diamond ring effect, that really beautiful shot
Aí,
there.
ó. Vamos para o anel, segundo anel de diamante em Tupper Lake, né? E começa a saída aí, né? Começa a saída.
How close we are now to Holton, Maine, who are our last stop of the day on our NASA coverage here. This is then going to continue on into parts of Canada and beyond. Holton, Maine, they had some snow past couple days. It seems to have cleared up quite a bit.
Almir, boa tarde, Almir, seja bem-vindo.
Expecting a duration of 3 minutes and 20 seconds to be able to observe that totality at 3:32:05.
Acho que Holton já é, pelo que ele está falando ali, já é no litoral, né? E depois o eclipse segue ali para o Canadá e tal coisa, né? Eu não sei se eles vão continuar acompanhando.
Awesome up here. We are just a few minutes away from totality. Can hear people announcing it in the back, and people are getting excited, as am I. And here to share in all of that excitement with us is actually Dr. Eric Smith, the program scientist for the James Webb Space Telescope. Eric, it's so great to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here, Angelique. This is really exciting.
Eric, is this your first eclipse?
This is the first totality I'm going to see, so I am super psyched, and I am delighted to be here in Maine to experience it.
Yes, and so we've actually been kind of watching as it slowly gets closer and closer, right? And what are we? We're starting to feel it getting kind of cooler. We're seeing the shadows change.
Aí, ó, lá também já está aí, né? A menos de 2 minutos, né? Chegando na totalidade também, né?
But the light is diminishing. Your brain tells it something different is happening.
Something is definitely up. So, speaking of up, that's where the James Webb Space Telescope is. And what's interesting about the telescope is that it actually can't look directly at the sun, just like we can't.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why that is?
Sure. We designed Webb to look for very faint things in the distant universe. So it's very sensitive for very faint things. Of course, the sun is very bright. And so we had to make sure that it could never look at the sun. We use solar power to power the spacecraft, but the telescope can't look at the sun.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, as it's starting to get a little bit closer to all of the cool phenomenon, the Bailey's beads, the diamond, let's go ahead and put on our glasses.
All right.
So that we can look up and continue chatting. Wow. Just a little bit left. That is incredible. Wow. So, Eric, I have a couple more questions for you. Another thing that I was wondering about is how we can use actually eclipses to study exoplanets, which are planets outside of our solar system, using, I think, the transit method. Is that what that's called?
Yeah. Right now, during an eclipse, the moon...
Sorry, you can hear everybody getting excited. We're getting very close to totality here.
The moon is transiting in front of the sun just the way planets that orbit around other stars transit in front of the star. So Webb can look at those exoplanets and use the transit just like we're staring up at the moon transiting the sun.
Gotcha. And so a transit is, like you said, literally just when something crosses in front of something else.
That's right.
Transit.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. So throughout the broadcast, we've actually been able to see the eclipse through different telescope feeds. Can you tell me a little bit about what the difference is between, actually, we're going to go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
We're getting really close. Oh my gosh,
Calma aí,
just a few more seconds until we are in complete
Lá vai
totality.
ganhar o diamante.
Oh my gosh.
6.
5, 4, 3.
Ó, a imagem lá de baixo, hein? Que bacana, hein? Que massa, hein?
Incredible. So let's go ahead and take off our glasses. We are in totality
Muito
now.
legal.
Oh, you can see the coronal spikes. Amazing.
That is
beautiful.
Incredible.
You can see a planet in the sky that you couldn't see before.
Oh wow! And I think is that one of the oh gosh, the
there's some drone. There's a drone up there in the sky too.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, wow!
It's incredible, the rays that you can kind of just see coming off of the corona.
Yes, yeah, stunningly beautiful.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
And you can see the gradation in the sky color down to the horizon.
Oh
too.
my goodness!
Yeah,
I am seeing a bit of that 360-degree sunset.
Yes, yeah.
That is really cool.
Olha aí que show! O eclipse visto da estação espacial. Aqui é a sombra da Lua na Terra, galera. É isso que eu estava me referindo. Olha que legal aí. Ó. A sombra da Lua na Terra. A Lua está entre o Sol. A Lua está entre o Sol e a Terra. E aí a sombra da Lua na Terra observada da IFS, da Estação Espacial Internacional. Massa demais, viu? Muito bacana. Isso é uma das coisas que eu tinha falado no começo da live aqui, que provavelmente a gente conseguiria ver. E muito legal, viu? Muito legal, oportunidade única isso aí, viu? E aí, olha só como a sonda ela é circular. Por quê? Porque a Lua é um objeto esférico, né? Assim como a Terra, né? Muito legal, viu? Essa imagem aí é icônica, viu, gente? Muito bacana ver essa imagem. E aí vocês podem ver ali onde está a sombra do eclipse, tá vendo? Ali a gente já tem o Oceano Atlântico ali, então realmente a gente já está chegando bem no litoral mesmo, né? Muito legal. E aqui agora as duas imagens. Né? Muito legal, viu? Oportunidade incrível essa aí.
That's cool. Now there are two.
Yeah.
Wow. That is just so cool.
Yeah, I like the 360 sunset. It's a little hard to see behind us, but it's.
Oh, we've got at least one or two drones.
Yeah, some our robot overlords.
Of course. And so, Eric, I know that, clearly with the drones, people are starting to get involved in the eclipse. And I know that there are lots of ways that people can actually get involved. One of those ways is with citizen science.
Right.
Do you mind talking about some of those opportunities, how people can actually...
Sure. We had citizen science programs where people could use their cell phones to take pictures during the eclipse. And
we're getting ready to come out of totality.
And here we go. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's peeking out.
Everybody is
cheering. Olha lá, agora é o nosso segundo anel de diamante ali. E agora já começa a sair.
Oh, and it's amazing. Now just look at the ground, how much brighter it's gotten.
It is already so much brighter. That is so wild. That was probably one of the most amazing, but also fastest 3 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
I wish I could do it all again.
Yeah.
E aí é aquilo que eu falei, né? Do quanto que é fugaz o momento aí do eclipse total, né? A média avaliada aí em torno de 3 minutos,
Thank
né?
you so much, Dr. Smith, for coming out and hanging out with us and experience this wonderful event.
Oh, it was my pleasure, and congratulations to the city of Holton here for doing such an amazing job covering the
Absolutely.
eclipse. It was amazing.
I mean,
well orchestrated.
Above and beyond. And I want to say, of course, a special thank you to photographer Dave Bowman, who has been giving us these incredible images from the telescope feed. And we're going to enjoy as the rest of the eclipse kind of ends here, going back in the direction that it came. And with that, we're going to send it back over to you, Megan.
All righty. Thanks, Angelique. So, Gina, I mean, what do you think? Like, we literally have just watched the eclipse travel, what, about 2,600 miles?
Going across
Mexico to Maine.
Yes.
In like, what, about 88 minutes?
That's right. It's
so
like
fast.
that 1,900 miles per hour that the shadow is traveling.
I mean, did you have a favorite location?
For me, I think between Russellville and Dallas, just getting to hear some of my colleagues and their excitement
Take
too
it
was
in.
amazing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. So I don't know. I have to be a little bit biased. We did have some cloud cover here,
We did.
but to see it with your real eyes was just.
And we had that moment, which was.
We did, yes. It was amazing. And so it's really cool too, just to think about how millions of us.
A Isabel tá falando aí, ó, gente, muito lindo, experiência.
It's true.
A Isabel é italiana, né? Experiência única, Itália, Europa.
Again, we have another
Ô, Isabel.
great question from Mackenzie, who's in the 3rd grade.
Okay.
Let's roll it now.
O Ivne Reis, da NR Contabilidade, está perguntando aqui: What time will the Devil's Comet appear? Pois é, Ivne, o que acontece é o seguinte, as imagens aqui, a gente não consegue ver, o pessoal que está lá parece que está conseguindo, mas assim, eles estão priorizando aqui de fato o eclipse, e eu estou de olho aqui, se já saem publicações de imagens aqui, se sair eu vou colocar para a gente aqui. De qualquer forma, nós vamos ter imagens, pode ter certeza que a gente vai ter imagens aí, e aí eu trago para vocês aqui, com certeza. Mas estou de olho aqui, se aparecer qualquer imagem aqui, eu estou colocando para vocês aí, tá? Ou se a NASA fizer alguma imagem em algum momento para colocar, nós estamos de olho.
Second perspective view. And so I've got another question for you right now. It's going to be Eli on Reddit.
Luiz está agradecendo, não há de quê?
There are quite a few solar eclipses in the world every few years. So why is this one scientifically interesting?
Okay. So yeah, we do get solar eclipses and lunar eclipses maybe 2 to 3 times a year. However, the total eclipse that happens today, total eclipses are about every 1.5 years. And that is a rare opportunity for us to look at the corona, study the corona in a way that we can't do during the other types of solar eclipses that we have. So
and during a solar maximum.
Exactly, during the solar maximum. So for this one particular, you know, we were talking about the solar activity that we were seeing on the limbs during the totality. Yeah, there's just a bunch going on today for this eclipse.
And so too, right now, we've got another incredible view.
Oh, look at that.
These are live views from space, which is just mind-blowing in general. And now we're also to see the moon's shadow across the Earth. It is just amazing.
Aí, é uma imagem da estação espacial ao vivo, né? Show de bola, né? Olha que coisa linda. Né?
It's a good reminder that humanity has been experiencing these eclipses
Também, ó, o sol agora já saindo lá, né? Na cidade de Hilton.
Let's check in with Joy in Dallas to learn more about indigenous astronomy. Joy.
Hi, né? Quem sabe eles colocam pra gente aí.
I'm with Dr. David Begay. He's an indigenous astronomer and also a member of the Navajo Nation. David, thank you so much for joining us. So when people think about science, they might be thinking of Western science. So David, how does that relate to indigenous
Ela está
science?
conversando com um astrônomo na cidade de Dallas, né? O que ele vai falar aí?
I think the knowledge on the eclipse goes way back.
É um astrônomo indígena, bacana. E olha a situação, olha como que já está lá em Dallas, no Texas, lá. Já está saindo, né? Quase finalizando já em Dallas, né? É bacana, hein? É bonito, hein, também.
And as far as
Está finalizando, a aula está praticamente acabada, né?
it's a time of
Bacana.
renewal.
Galera, vamos lembrar, ó, já deu like? Não deu like, não. Peraí que eu vou, não, agora eu vou aí. Peraí, estou chegando aí. Pronto, olha eu aqui. Você não deu like ainda, por quê, rapaz? Senta o dedão nesse trem aí, tá esperando o quê? Manda o dedão no like aí, menino. A gente precisa do like pro YouTube, ó, reconhecer o canal. Outra coisa, já está inscrito aí? Ah, não estou inscrito não, Ned. Eu venho aqui, eu vou no canal do Sérgio, eu inscreve no canal todo mundo, gente. Tem que inscrever. Quando vocês inscrevem, o YouTube entende a relevância do canal. Tá bom? Então manda aí pra gente, inscreve aí. Comentário, compartilha essa live aí, né? Ah, seu amigo está trabalhando agora, não vai poder assistir. Manda lá para ele, vê mais tarde, vai ficar aqui no canal. Tá certo? Conta muito aí com essa força aí de vocês aí, tá certo?
Thanks, Joy. We're joined now by Jamie Favors, the director of NASA's Space Weather Program, to tell us more about some cool science
Esse aí é o diretor da NASA, né? Do programa de clima espacial, né? Clima espacial estuda aí o Sol, né?
Sure, so it's really to capitalize on this really
Os
unique
efeitos
situation.
dele.
Things like this
Olha
happen
lá,
every
cidade
day.
de Carbondale aí também, como é que tá já?
Sunset into darkness. It happens so quickly that we can make these measurements one right after the next to really understand very precisely what's going on in the atmosphere. With sounding rockets, we can do that so quick back to back, the way we can't do with some of the really large rockets.
Tá legal, né? Tá legal, não tá? Vocês estão gostando? Fala pra mim aí. Ah, né? Podia ter tido não sei o quê, podia ter tido aquilo outro. Fala aí pra mim.
These particular rockets are getting about 250 miles above the surface, pretty close to right about where the International Space Station flies. And before you ask, everything's safe. We take care of the.
And it looks like we've got a playback of that right now. Oh, wow. Can you walk us through this?
Sure. So from Wallops Island out in Virginia on the Virginia Space Coast. So these rockets have multiple stages to them. So you're seeing one stage burn for a few seconds, then that drops off, and then the next stage will light, to eventually take it all the way up to about that 250-mile mark above the surface to make those measurements in the upper atmosphere.
Wow, that looks incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and so what is that area of the atmosphere and why do we care about it?
Yes, it's the upper part of our atmosphere is called the ionosphere. That's really from a perspective of heliophysics, where we really see a lot of that interaction with the sun and the earth. We care about it because that interaction can change the way our GPS signals work, our communication signals work.
Tô de olho aqui, galera. Tô vendo se eu acho imagem aí, alguma imagem aí do Ghost aí, mas até agora nada.
Sure. Okay. Great.
And so, Jimmy, today we've been doing this fun poll, to see who is Team Sun, Moon, and Earth. What team are you repping today?
Well, other than Team Science. Well, my bosses would make sure I go for Team Sun today for sure.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, thank you so much again. Thanks, Jamie. And folks, it is time now to say goodbye to our friend, James Traley, who has made sure we've known where and when to look up all day. James, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tahira. It's been fantastic tracking this eclipse across North America all afternoon with you. If you're still in the path of totality, you might be in a boat somewhere off the Canadian coast.
Olha onde é que o eclipse agora já está em cima do oceano, né? Irineu Muzeca, sou do Paraná, Brasil, aqui está clareando agora. Valeu, Irineu. Obrigado aí, Patrícia. As obras do Eterno são maravilhosas. Certamente, o cometa, ainda não tivemos uma imagem aqui, Patrícia, mostrando o cometa. Patrícia e Irineu perguntou, sim, o cometa. A gente ainda não teve imagem do cometa, não, mas estou de olho aqui, viu? A minha expectativa é que alguém que tenha feito imagem ainda mostra isso aí lá na NASA, tá? Vamos ver se vamos conseguir aí. Nessa live da NASA talvez apareça ainda. E eu estou olhando nos outros canais que a gente tem de comunicação aqui, tá?
Been beautiful views up and down here, and so really fantastic to see this. Really been a lot of fun tracking this with our Eclipse Explorer. A big thanks again to our scientific visualization studio for putting this tool together. But for now, back to you, Tahira.
And here with us now is NASA Chief Scientist, Dr. Kate Calvin. Kate, welcome.
Hi, Kate. Hi, nice to be here.
So happy to have you back here again. I know we had the pleasure of sharing the stage together for the annular eclipse.
Right.
Now, with today's total solar eclipse, can you tell our viewers what would you say is the #1 takeaway from today's events?
I would say the #1 takeaway is that our universe is beautiful and understandable. We all got to experience this together today.
Parece que
I
ainda não
predict when it
temos
would
nenhuma
happen,
deles,
and we
não.
did a lot of science today. That's great. So speaking of the science that was conducted, how does that fold into kind of the greater science that we're doing with NASA in the future? Yeah, so we did a lot of science today, and a lot of it really complements science that we do all
Mas
the
estamos de
time.
olho
So
aqui.
one of the
Vamos,
things we
vamos
were really
continuar
looking at today
aqui. A
was the
NASA ainda não
corona. The
encerrou.
moon blocked out the sun
Vamos ver se
so
a
we
gente
could see
encerra mais
that
ou
as
menos
part of the
junto com
sun's
eles aqui, para a
atmosphere.
gente
But we
descobrir
also have a
alguma,
mission called Parker
alguma
Solar
nova
Probe that's
imagem aí, né?
orbiting closer and closer to the sun so that we can study the corona with that. We were also looking a lot at how the eclipse affected Earth. So we had a citizen science project that looked at how the eclipse changed temperatures and clouds. We have a mission that launched 2 months ago that's studying clouds all the time, a mission called PACE. It'll tell us more about oceans and atmosphere on here on Earth. And one of the other things we do is we develop instruments called a coronagraph. So the moon blocked out the sun today so that we could see that corona, but we can make an instrument that does that. And so we have an upcoming mission called Nancy Grace Roman that's going to block out the light of other stars so we can see what's flying in here around them.
Amazing. So much going on for the sun at NASA, honestly. And I understand that the Heliophysics division has a big sun celebration going on right now, the Heliophysics Big Year. Kate, could you tell us how we could get involved in this and really just celebrate our star?
Yeah, this total solar eclipse was just one event in a series of this Heliophysics Big Year, working towards Parker Solar Probe's closest approach to the sun. And we have a lot of activities where you can engage in our science and learn more about the sun. And if you want to know more, you can find us on social media at NASA Sun.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Kate, for being here with us. It was really special to share this moment with you.
Thanks, Kate. Nice to be here.
And Gina, this has been an honor. I mean, my goodness, to have the annular eclipse with you, then to share this total solar eclipse with you.
I know.
Thank you so much. And do you have any final thoughts?
This was amazing. Annular was great, but to hear the energy here.
The total was
so
just
great
a whole nother level.
Both of you,
Yeah.
Once again, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And a big thank you to the city of Kerrville,
O
Texas,
integrante
Parks and
fake
Rec team,
eclipse.
and all the people that made today's
Não
incredible
entendi
event
não, amigão.
possible.
Fake.
I also want to thank our telescope
Fake é
operator,
você vir falar isso aqui.
Catherine Troach, for those great views of totality here in Kerrville.
Engraçado, viu?
Folks, that is a wrap from Kerrville, Texas. Back to you in Cleveland.
NASA já estão fazendo um giro aí para enterrar, né?
And now check out who we have here at the host desk, the pastronaut himself, Josh Dobbs,
Voltando aí
who
para
just signed on
Cleveland,
as
né?
quarterback for the 49ers. How do you feel about that?
I feel good. I feel good. It's exciting times. Obviously, I spent a couple years here in Cleveland. Got a chance to have some fun over at NASA Glenn during my time here. So it's cool to be back and taking the Eclipse Fest here in Cleveland.
E parece que nós não temos imagem aí ainda do 12P com o eclipse.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, the pastronaut nickname comes
Mas
from
estou
some incredible
de
plays you had
olho.
last year, and also you have a background here with us at NASA with some externships, but also you're an aerospace engineer. So how did it feel being back here specifically in Cleveland to watch the total solar eclipse?
It felt really good. When this event was put on my radar about a year ago in last off season, they're like, hey, the eclipse is coming straight through Cleveland. We'd love to have you here. It's going to be a once in a lifetime event.
Aguardando as imagens dos
right
três
here on the beautiful Great
foguetes.
Lakes, and obviously have some great weather
Foguete?
today. So I marked on my calendar a year ago.
Entendi. Qual foguete você está esperando?
And take it in, and get a chance
Do
to
play.
hang out with the city I spent 2 years
Seja
in.
bem-vindo
It's
aí.
been great. I think the biggest thing that I've enjoyed is just seeing the interest from the city of Cleveland and how many people traveled here to take in the event today, and to be able to then also go learn about the future of NASA and the future of space exploration as well at the same time. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to take it in, and it's been an honor to be here.
So, Josh, NASA is really committed to inspiring the next generation through discovery. Do you think maybe we created a few new future scientists and engineers here today?
I think so. There's a wealth of youth walking around here and taking in
tivemos 3 lançamentos hoje aí, tá certo.
outside, but also the Great Lakes Science
Aí,
Center
beleza.
inside, and just seeing the history of the space program. I think that gives us
Certinho.
perspective, and so that's just like NASA. That's been my approach. I think the youth obviously is the next generation. They're going to have a tremendous impact on the world, and being able to inspire the youth out here and the youth across the country that if you have interest in STEM and also are really good at sports, You don't have to split your eggs into.
Yeah,
You don't have to split
did
up your eggs, right? Like
That's right.
you can go out, put all your eggs in both baskets, and work hard to achieve those goals and dreams.
Now, Josh, we have time for one other question. It's the most important question we're going to ask you.
Okay.
Who was the star today? Was it the
Oh.
sun, the moon, or the earth? Say the right thing, Josh. Say the right thing.
Drum roll, drum roll. The star of the day was the moon. I gotta go with it. I gotta go with it. I gotta go with the moon.
I agree. I do. All right. Well, I
Stiff
appreciate your
competition, though.
honesty. Right. I appreciate your honesty, and I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, Josh, and it was great to have you here with us.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, so we talked about this controversial but friendly competition. So actually, we asked you guys to vote. We have the results of that poll right now. Let us bring it up. Wow! All right, congrats, Sarah.
Come on!
Congrats.
Thank you.
Team Earth,
Thank you.
26%. Team
Thank you.
Sun, 26% as well. But Team Moon, 48%. Congrats, Team Moon.
Go
today.
Team Moon.
All right, again, thank you to everyone who participated. We were the real winners of today, though, those who got a show. But we're going to send it back over to Indianapolis for another really important interview.
Thanks, Megan. We are back here in Indianapolis. It has been an incredible day, and it is
É,
not over
galera,
yet.
lá em
With me, I have
Indianápolis, hein?
Jake Bleacher, the Chief Exploration Scientist for NASA. Jake, welcome.
I could not be happier to be
How was that eclipse for you, really quickly?
That was amazing.
Eclipse
It's getting
mesmo,
warm again.
agora
I
já
still have my
foi.
fleece on from
Vamos ver se a gente vê uma imagenzinha aí do 2P, né?
Well, today has been all about the eclipse, all about the sun's light. And I want to pivot a little bit here because you're getting astronauts ready to go back to the moon, live and work there for the first time in 50 years. How the sunlight shines on the moon also very crucial to what we're trying to do there?
Yeah, well, just like this eclipse, it's the celestial dance between the sun, the earth, and the moon. And when we go to the moon, we'll actually have instances of eclipses where the earth
Saberia me informar se em Michigan deveria ter desconhecido, não sei dizer. Vi a faixa aqui de totalidade, mas eu não vi assim, os locais. Eu sei que passou ali, ó.
Right along the horizon. And so high peaks
Dallas,
have sunlight
New York,
more than normal amounts of time, and low depressions have almost no sunlight or never see the sun. And so we think there might actually be water trapped there.
Incredible. So one thing that we've talked a little bit about on the broadcast is space weather. And
Mas
space weather is
Michigan,
really
eu não vi
important to
Michigan
understand,
aqui não.
especially when it comes to the
Acredito
safety
que
of
não,
our
viu?
astronauts. Can you describe how the instruments Ursa and Hermes are actually helping keep our astronauts safe?
Yeah, Ursa and Hermes are payloads, science instruments that we'll have on our Gateway. Gateway is going to be a station, a research station that orbits the moon, and astronauts can stop there on their way to the surface of the moon. And these payloads or these science instruments will be there to basically detect what the solar weather is like, what we call space weather. So that radiation that our astronauts will live in when they're actually there. So understanding your weather is the best way to be prepared for it.
Absolutely. Well, you've given us a lot to be excited about. Jake, thank you for being here on this incredible day.
I would not have missed it.
Well, folks, that is all we have from Indianapolis. Thank you for joining us. It has been a wild ride.
E tá geral, viu? O pessoal todo aí cobrando a imagem aí do 12P aí.
Back to you guys.
Parece que
Thank you, Lauren. I did
ainda não surgiu nenhuma,
And now
não.
back here in Cleveland, we are
Todo
joined
mundo
by
louco aí
Jimmy Kenyon,
buscando as
Director of
imagens
NASA's
aí.
Glenn
Vamos
Research
ver.
Center. Thank you for joining us and
Sabe,
for
né?
hosting us, really.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us here.
Well, so yeah, Glenn Research Center is right here in Cleveland,
Yep.
just down the road. The only NASA center in the Midwest, the only one in today's path of totality. Literally everything aligned for us to get a great show here.
Absolutely. And it has been such a great show here. You could not have asked for better weather. And it's springtime in the Midwest. That's always a little bit of a debate, but you could not have asked for better weather. What a great outing. We're here with our partners at the Great Lakes Science Center, and which hosts our visitor center. So where the people are.
Yep.
And just a great opportunity to have everybody here and connect them with what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hosted this wonderful 3-day event here and invited the community and all your visitors in to come and explore and learn a little bit about Glenn. Why was that important to you?
It's important, but well, as you know, having a total solar eclipse pass over your community is, for most people, a once in a lifetime opportunity. But to have a total solar eclipse pass over a NASA community like
Right.
Cleveland,
Right.
that's even more rare. But what it does is it creates such a great opportunity to connect people with what we do.
Mhm.
Everybody is here paying attention to our planet, paying attention to the moon and the sun and how all of these things work, our solar system and our universe. And that just gives us a great opportunity to say, this is what we do.
Right.
And connect people with that. And you can't pass that kind of an opportunity up.
Right. And speaking of all, like you said, the science, all this discovery that we're enabling today by the eclipse, let's talk more about the science. I know that nothing flies without Glenn. That's what you love to say, Jimmy.
That's right.
So can you explain the center's critical role within NASA?
At NASA, Glenn, we work on aircraft propulsion, spacecraft propulsion, power for both aircraft and spacecraft, communications. We also work on materials and testing in extreme environments, but our core competencies of power, propulsion, communications. No aircraft and no spacecraft flies without those three things, and they never will. And so NASA Glenn is literally part of virtually every NASA mission.
Well, Jimmy, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and again hosting us. This was a wonderful event. I know so many people joined us here and really enjoyed it because we were watching, we were looking out at the crowd,
Yeah.
Lots of smiles. So really, thank you so much, you and the Great Lakes Science
And
Center.
thank you for being here and being part of this with us and really putting NASA and NASA Glenn on the map here for us.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thanks so much. Have a great day. All right, and a big thank you to our whole team positioned across the path, from our correspondents to our experts and our telescope operators. We couldn't have done it without all of you. And Sarah, as we're taking again this aerial shot of the Great Lakes Science Center, so beautiful. Such a wonderful way to experience my first total solar eclipse. And I hope you had a good time too, because I know this isn't your first total solar eclipse.
No, this is my second, but it was really great and special to be able to experience it with you and all the folks here.
Yeah, we did notice that people right after, the people were like, "Whoa!" They were trying to get out. There's a lot of really fun events happening in
Rafael, tô
Cleveland.
falando
So
aí,
there's a lot of
Texas já
people
acabou,
in
já
downtown.
sim.
So I hope that they
Na
took
verdade, a
some
maioria
time to
daqueles
look up
locais
today
todos
and really enjoy
ali,
what they saw.
Yeah,
provavelmente o único que a gente ainda tem eclipse é Hilton lá.
Yeah, really,
Foi
really
dos
cool science. And
últimos ali,
actually,
né?
let's talk about that.
Old
NASA's
school, fake
heliophysics
eclipse.
big year isn't
É
over
bom
yet.
pra ser
We had
old
the
school
annual
mesmo.
eclipse, then we had the solar eclipse, and now talk to us about what's
Bem
happening in
old.
December.
Yeah, coming up on Christmas Eve, in fact, Parker Solar Probe will make its closest approach to the sun, 3.9 million miles, which still seems like a long way to me, but apparently that's actually pretty close.
Yeah, I can't believe that's happening. Again, just that it's all, we've been saying this all day, aligning. Everything is aligning for us to have a beautiful show. And so, Sarah, again, thank you so much. We watched this together, race across Mexico to Maine in only an hour and 28 minutes. And again, we have so much more to look forward to. So we hope you all stay with us as we continue studying our sun and how it affects us, from all of us here at NASA, where we make air and space available for everyone. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.
We are one of 100 billion stars in a vast galaxy.
Bom, galera, a NASA encerrou, né? E a gente também vai ficando por aqui, né? Vera Guidini perguntou se Michigan escureceu. Uma outra pessoa me perguntou e eu não soube dizer, viu, Vera? Então, não sei falar não, viu? Mas me parece que não. Me parece que não estava na faixa de totalidade do eclipse, não, tá? Galera, agradecer mais uma vez todo mundo acompanhando a gente aqui. Pedir para vocês aí, se vocês não são inscritos aqui no canal, no Nerd 50, já se inscrevam, tá certo? E já deu o seu like aqui nesse vídeo? Se não deu também, já deixa o like aí pra gente, que é muito importante. Falar para vocês o seguinte, gente, o canal aqui, a gente trabalha duro aqui para manter o canal e a gente precisa de fato de uma força aí. A gente está com um novo parceiro aí, que é a Apexel, que vende alguns acessórios aí para astronomia, inclusive um acessório para acoplar câmera fotográfica no celular, que é incrível. Vou colocar para acoplar, desculpa, celular no telescópio, que é incrível. Eu vou fazer um vídeo, a gente está preparando um vídeo aí desse equipamento da Pexel aí, mas tem lentes aí, grande angulares e teleobjetivas para celular. A Pexel é show de bola, então No link de todos os vídeos aqui do canal, tem o link lá para a Pexel. Se você quiser comprar qualquer tipo de equipamento de acessório, né? Dá uma olhadinha lá antes, ver se tem alguma coisa lá que te agrada, né? Comprando, a gente ganha uma comissão aqui no canal que nos ajuda. Outras formas de você ajudar o nosso canal aqui é, de fato, indo até a nossa loja, Nerd aos 50. Vamos colocar esse... Deixa eu ver se eu consigo colocar isso aqui. Vou colocar aqui a loja para vocês aí. Ó. Então tá aí a loja, nossa loja Nerd aos 50, onde você pode encontrar camisas igual essa aqui, ó, camisas altamente tecnológicas, tá? Feitas pela ML Oficial Esportes para do nosso canal. Então tem várias camisas incríveis. Camisa aí da SpaceX, camisa da Starship, da NASA, da Apollo 11, da Roscosmos. Tem muita camisa legal lá para quem curte astronomia e astronáutica. Vai lá buscar sua camisa. Além disso, essa camisa tem filtro ultravioleta acima de 50 e ela seca rápido, ela não deixa o suor em contato com o corpo. É extremamente confortável, gente, vale a pena. Tá? Outras formas, adquirir um curso de astronomia, né? O link do curso já está em todos os nossos, nas descrições de todos os nossos vídeos. O curso é baratinho, mas vai te ajudar a aprender muita coisa de astronomia e a gente também ganha uma pequena comissão. E ainda, ser espaçonauta de carteirinha. O que é ser espaçonauta de carteirinha, Nerd? É se inscrever aqui no nosso clube de membros. Ah, tá, Nerd, eu vou inscrever no clube de membros só para te ajudar? De jeito nenhum. Olha só, o nosso clube de membros, você paga 16 centavos por dia, dá R$ 4,99 por mês. É muito baratinho, né? Então pode tirar o escorpião do bolso aí e vir para cá ser espaçonauta de carteirinha. Ajuda o canal aqui a se manter. E também você vai obter vários benefícios. Quais benefícios? Vai participar dos nossos sorteios especiais aqui para os espaçonautas de carteirinha, para os clubes de membros, das lives para membros, vai participar do nosso grupo de WhatsApp, vai receber aí notificações e poder assistir todos os nossos vídeos primeiro. Então, vale a pena demais, viu? Então, aguardo você lá no nosso clube de membros para ser espaçonauta de carteirinha. Tá certo? E é isso aí, ó. Gente, fiquei devendo aí, por enquanto, a imagem do Cometa 12P, mas com certeza vai surgir. Então, eu vou criar um vídeo aí pra gente, mais para frente aí. A Isabel tá falando aqui, tenha uma boa noite, que Deus o proteja grandemente. Obrigado, Isabel, você também. Então, fiquei devendo a foto do Cometa, mas a gente vai fazer um vídeo igual é tradicional já aqui no Nerd aos 50, com as principais imagens aí do eclipse. Que o negócio aqui é imagens, não é mesmo? Então é isso aí, galera. Grande abraço, até o nosso próximo vídeo. E muito obrigado para todos vocês que nos acompanharam aqui.